reach. All right, buddy. You're on the Fast Life Podcast. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with you at, we were talking about my buddy Winton's house in Sturgis. I was like, don't be wrong, I was going pretty hard on whiskey that night. So I was like, man, I was like really enjoying that conversation. I don't know what pulled us apart. But just anytime you're out in motorcycle events and you can start talking cameras and, recording and theory and ideas, it was like an engaging conversation that I hate that I found myself out of, if you will.
We were all having partaking, right? But it happens, man. And it's all love, right? I haven't seen him, I haven't seen her, and this and that. Let's take a picture, and then that just evolves a conversation, then which is and such. But here we are today.
Yeah.
Here we are today.
Yeah, that whole situation, that house is kind of like the homies that rent the place. Over the years, they've invited me and always kind of egged me to invite more people that I know.
Right.
And it's kind of become like, okay, like that's a cool dude, that's a cool chick, like this is a cool couple. Let's all bring them over. Yeah. And you just end up eventually having a house full of like really rad people that are,
For my first time hanging out, that's exactly what I saw.
Yeah.
Just everybody was super nice. Unfortunately, in the motorcycle industry, no matter crotch rockets or Harleys, there's always a group that's like, oh, I'm faster than you, or I'm better, or I can drink more. But it's very rare you have that many people that are cool, that don't know each other. Well, at least for me. Super nice in different areas in the industry, like yourself, or just riders like myself. And I mean, it was, I definitely echo the sentiment because it was just awesome, just to hang out.
Yeah, I think, like you were saying, it's all the different types of walks of life that come together sometimes. I think that it's all just a mutual respect of like, we're here to have a good time. And I don't think anybody knows each other enough to start busting the balls.
Yeah, there's that gray line, but yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, if it's me and Dwayne, we're talking shit the whole time.
Which I enjoy to watch, by the way. Love you, Dwayne.
But for the most part, you want to make sure that everybody's just having a good time.
Yeah.
That's the thing that sucks about like banter when you go, like, I have friends that we can talk some like gnarly shit and you might hear it and you'd be like, whoa, like what is that? And then it's like, it's all love on us. It's just how deep we go,
Yeah. I mean, you have to have thick skin, bro. Like, growing up and then, I was in the military and stuff. This industry in general, you have to have thick skin, bro. And it's not personal. It's not even business. It's just having a good time, It's almost like the challenge of how quick are you to come back? Right.
Yeah. And for me, sometimes I'm quick-witted and sometimes I just gotta like, oh man, you got me, dude. You fucking got me.
100%. Yeah, I agree. It happens all the time, man.
Well, I thought so on your video. So obviously you do a lot of YouTube stuff, and I mean, I don't even know where to start with all the things that I feel like you kind of have been doing. But I think for me, like you got some fast bikes, some really high horsepower bikes. And you're riding the shit out of these things all over the country. And to me, like that's fucking cool. I like that. You've done something that I haven't done, which I'm super jealous of. You did 1,600 miles in 24 hours.
Oh yeah, we can talk all about that.
Yeah, and I just and on a all that stuff is to me interesting. Like it's you're like taking this bike or these bikes that you have now, and you're just kind of like living on them. Like you're doing cool shit on them, not just posting up with it, not just, polish it up for the bike show on Saturday. Like you're out making memories and experiences on them.
Right. Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, if I get off track, just bring me back on track. Sometimes my mind works like that. But yeah, man, I just, just kind of, little history here. I've been riding motorcycles for a while, but I think most of us started on dirt bikes, and then, well, here we are when you're in your 40s. I'm 45, right? And you have more money, so you can afford more stuff, right? Yeah. That's really how it comes down. But yeah, man, my goal, my thing was I had been watching YouTube for a long time, yourself included, and just a bunch of people in the industry that were doing it. And my first street bike was a 2007 GSX-R 1000, yellow and silver.
Yep, remember that.
And people thought I was crazy for getting my first street bike as a GSX-R 1000. I said
that year was a fast. So it was a frame change year. It was a smaller. That thing was retarded.
I think at the time, in many aspects, that Gixxer was ahead of its time for 2007 because, I've always liked the blue color of the Yamahas. Yeah. That was like that bluish that they had with the white, and it was just like it was epic, right?
But didn't they like right around that time on the Yamahas go with like a V4 or something like that?
They did. They
went away from the 4-cylinder inline.
Yeah, they did. So they had some stuff. So and the irony is that I never really looked at a Gixxer, but nonetheless, it's just kind of shorting up the story. I got on that crotch rocket, that Gixxer 1000, and the first run I ran, I was 160 miles an hour, and I was in heaven. I was like, this is awesome. They're in Houston, actually, because, we got big roads, right, and long roads. And I was like, this is me. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel like, I just felt connected. You know what I'm saying? Just connected, I try not to cuss, but just connected. And that was like very empowering, right? I just liked it. But the older you get, you have back problems, right? So I got rid of that. And then anyhow, so to my current motorcycles now, I had a V-Rod that I actually got a great deal on, and I traded it, and I got this the Redline Red Road Glide that's now all turboed out and trash built and everything like that. So back to kind of what I said about the YouTube videos, I was like, look, I want to go as fast and as reliable as possible and just repeat it and prove that you can't have it all. You can't have a performance bagger. Now I started calling them hot rod. That you can have it. Yeah, that you can have it. So now I started calling them hot rod baggers, right? So that's kind of like what I started calling them, because I got just too much horsepower for my own good. If this year I want to start, or this 2024, I want to start racing, and we'll talk about that. I have no experience, but all you guys can join me for the journey. You know what I'm saying? But anyhow, so I wanted to prove that you can have, and I wanted built a fast bike, Road Glide specifically, that was just reliable, man, and fun. And you could, I take it to work, bro. I take it to work and everything. So, so I bought it brand new with the 131. I wanted the whole warranty thing.
Did you do the crate, or did you have?
No, I did the kit. Okay.
I
did the kit. The place I bought it from had a sale, and installed out the door was like, I want to say $4,000.
Yeah, can't beat that.
Not including the tuner or the air cleaner, but I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I want to say it's 4, maybe 5. I don't know. Nonetheless, it was a deal, right? Because the kit was like 7 or 6 or something at the time. I don't know. So anyhow, so I installed it, and I was rocking dyno proven 135 torque and 126 horsepower, and you couldn't tell me nothing. That was the fastest Road Glide I've ever been. I was like, you can't tell me nothing. Well, I got, kind of wore out, right? Some people are beating me with aftermarket stage 2s. Like, I was like, no, right? So I wanted the best bag for my buck. So I called various shops around the country. Like, I don't mind traveling, I called various shops around the country. And what
were you thinking of originally? Like, what was kind of like your first thoughts of like getting more horsepower? Like, what was the ones that
so I think it was very, very, I don't want to say basic, but it was very common. I want, just bigger cam, bigger jugs, and just bigger, right? And I called around these shops, and a very, I don't want to say the name of the dealership, but, because whatever, but it's a dealership over in Tennessee that makes a lot of stuff, right? And I called them, and for a 131 that was going to, push around 150, 155 maybe, it was around $22K, bro.
Damn.
Right. So now I think that involved some clutch stuff, but I just thought it was just way overpriced, because I could pretty much get a cam, Thunder Max tuner. I have Thunder Max on there, so and I could be there. You know what I'm saying, reliably. But I was like, I just don't see it. I already have the 131, right? So okay, I called to the shops and whatever, and then there's talks about 85, but that's just not practical for me. Well, I come across Trash Performance, right? Turbo this, turbo that, and reliable, and they've been in the game for 20 years and just all this stuff. And I'm a very and I think a lot of us, a lot of your audience, yourself included, and correct me if I'm wrong, have kind of like this thing where you don't mind buying stuff, but you also want to believe in the person, in the company, and what they stand for, right? Like their principles, kind of, as much as you can. We're not perfect, but you know what I'm saying? So I kind of looked at Nick's stuff, and then I called him, and they were always super nice. Eric, that's how I met Eric, and always nice. So they tell me, hey, at Sturgis, Daytona, we can install your turbo system for free. I said, I've never been to Sturgis. I was like, this is like June. And so anyhow, starting it up, they installed, I went over to Sturgis, they installed it, and when I was talking to Eric, we were talking about in the 200s. I was like, okay, now you're talking what I want to. The problem is, at that time, I had a stock bottom in. I ended up getting back here and dynoing it, and at that time, with the clutch slipping, it was clocking 185 horsepower to the wheel on a 6-gear roll. And that's just way too much for the stock flywheel. Like it's just way too much. And I had a stock clutch and a stock compensator.
Yeah.
So I call him again. Hey, blah blah. Just a short story. I rode it over there last year in November, dropped it off for a month, picked it up in December, and I got a new turbo system because the turbo system I had was nice, but it was just too hot. This one here, like the one that Dwayne has and I have, is called the Assassin Turbo Kit. It's the most expensive option they have, but it's stainless steel. And it doesn't really get that hot, sincerely, speaking here. And so they tore it apart for me, and then to put it back together. And I already had the chain drive kit on there, and that's where the mark I wanted was like 200.
Yeah.
Well, because they built it, they were able to do some other voodoo, voodoo, and they did it. So that's where I got for probably around the same price. And that to me was kind of like better. You
got way more horsepower,
right?
And you got a more connected relationship too with the brand, so that's worth, its own separate thing. But the Dwayne's bike, the guy that had it before, not to take away from Dwayne, obviously, but when Ben had it, I've ridden with Ben quite a bit, and just that's what. Him riding it, because there was days he would like, hey, I'm leaving Phoenix. I just picked up the bike. I'll be at bike night, tomorrow morning or tomorrow.
Here?
Yeah, here. Oh, and so he would just haul ass here.
Yeah, and it's easy to do on those bikes.
Yeah, it's easy. It's hard to keep it under the speed limit, right?
Yeah, it's really difficult.
And like he would do that, and then he would like leave in Houston and go to Sturgis and ride it in one rip, and just like all this stuff on this turbo bike. And to me, it was just like, damn, like. That thing's built like it's because I've seen back in the big wheel days, turbos were very common on almost everything. If you were doing a big money build, it almost always had a turbo on it. But most of them were just slapping on turbos. They were doing almost nothing to the bike. Running such a low boost that it gave it some horsepower, but it's to be reliable. I mean, you're barely even opening that wastegate up.
Yeah, you probably don't because you need 8 pounds at least for those.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, man. So that was kind of the market on that, and I wrote it. And I'm not for me to sit here, brother, and tell you that I was just kumbaya the whole time. No, in terms of me, how I felt, right? Yeah. Because I was like, my wife will tell you, the first longest road trip I had done was around the Beltway in Houston, which is 88 miles. The second longest trip was from Houston to Sturgis on the 131, and then back from there.
Yeah.
So I just went for it, bro. No tools. Yeah. Not even an air pump. Just total amateur.
Yeah.
Just hopefully it don't rain and there's a cop or somebody that comes get me or something. I don't know. Yeah. Or a tow truck. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, man, like I just love the reliability of it. And I was intimidated, bro. And I was scared. That's a lot of horsepower having your throttle, bro.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to feather it,
well, it's also a heavy bike. So it's different than the sport bike. The sport bike, it'll get up there really quick.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it can also stop a lot faster. It can also, it's more agile. You're basically running a Cadillac down the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. The old school Cadillac.
Yeah, old school.
Let's throw in the old school, the Lincolns with the suicide doors. And you got it all set. Yeah, the Continental. But no, man, I was a little scared. I'm not going to lie to you. But I handled it. I wrote it. And just kind of backing up to what you're talking about with the shows and stuff where they were. I kind of have some pride because if you look at my forks in the turbo, there's like nicks of all the rocks. It looks kind of bad, but I kind of think it gives it character. I think I might clean it up and give it some more love now because I don't think I have anything else to prove on that bike except just winning, races or something. But it's beat up. It's beat up cosmetically. I mean, it's still good. And again, this was with the carbon fiber wheels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then so to your point, to lighten it up, I got a lot of carbon fiber stuff on there. And yeah, the bike is it's lighter than stock. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I just wanted to go fast and reliable, and I'm happy that I have now. The relationship that started with Trask is just amazing, man. I mean, those guys are amazing. Whenever I see them anywhere or pull up in the shop, they're always really nice, and to the point that they started partnering up with me for this CVO build that I just finished.
Nice. What did you do? Did you upgrade the compensator, clutch, tranny, any of that type of stuff?
On the turbo?
Yeah, on the turbo.
Yeah, so that was I got a little crazy. But I shouldn't say that because if you want to do it right, and we can talk about this all day. If you want to do it right, you got to do it all right. If not, don't complain because you're left stranded because your belt popped or whatever your chain, right? So I when Trask did my whole engine case up, I already had the compensator in there, and I already had the evolution. I have Man of War comp. I had the Screaming Eagle chain tensioner, but that broke on me, so we actually went back to stock, a stock chain tensioner, and the Evolution Industries clutch with 6 red springs. So as you know, the 21s and up are cable, and I'm trying to convert it over to a hydraulic clutch because it's they call it a man's clutch. It's tough, but you get all of your horsepower to the wheel, which is very important in a build like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I have for that, and then for the transmission. I went with a Baker transmission. I was entertaining sending it to these other shops, back cut and stuff like that. But again, since I totally got the bike out of warranty, I was like, well, if I can get the transmission in warranty for 5 years, I'm gonna go with Baker. So I bought the Baker transmission for the turbo. Trask installed that for me, and then chain drive kit. I went with the Alloy Art rear chain sprocket, but I'm gonna change it all to Trask now. Okay. It's just. Nothing wrong with Alloy Art in terms of that part, but the parts are just more readily available through Trask. It's like I could just call them and here it is. You know what I'm saying? They'll ship it to me, or I'll pay for it, right? But with Alloy Art, you have to wait. You have to get them at the right time. When they have it. But I think I don't know how that works out. But it's worked fine. A chain drive kit, 25 tooth in the front, chain sprocket, and then 51 in the back. So as stock ratio as I can, EGK, what is the chain?
I think it's EGK.
EGK chain.
EK chain, right?
EKG.
Something like that.
Let us know in the comments, everybody. Help us out. We're not even drinking this yet. But anyway, so a chain drive kit, right?
Yeah.
So that what happened with that, and the brakes. The brakes are stock on that one, but I went with the Galfer rotors. They were the most inexpensive in my opinion, and they're great, brother. Yeah. I have. I don't know. Have you rocked those or any other brand?
I rocked Galfers on my T Sport a couple of years ago, but other than that, I've been running Lindals on everything since about 2016. So
yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about them, but they're just a little pricey. But
yeah. I mean, honestly, like I guess on a turbo bike, it would definitely be. I'd probably have a different opinion about it, but. Even with the 131 crate engine, I think mine dynoed at 136, 146.
And that's a lot.
Yeah, it's like I never really felt like my brakes weren't sufficient. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, like there was a part of me that wanted to do the brakes just so that it looked better, because I'm still a very aesthetic guy. Like I want it to look and feel and fit that bill as well. Honestly, I'm more aesthetic than I am performance. Like
I gotcha.
I want my bikes to look a certain way and then feel a way equally, but as far as like to me, feeling is not just about horsepower or how well package, it corners. Right? It's like some bikes feel better to be lowered. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm not riding that bike the same way. It's like I feel like sometimes everybody like glosses over every type of bike has to be done the same kind of way. Right. And there's like different bikes for different types of riding that you're going to do, right? Yeah. So
no, 100%, man, 100%. And every bike is different, right? I know we're getting off topic here, but every bike is different. But no, that's pretty much what I have for it. And of course, the throttle body is a 64 millimeter from Screaming Eagle. The jugs and the pistons on the turbo are Screaming Eagle 131 pistons, but that's because the ratio is 1071 on the 131 Harley ones. Another thing too that a lot of people sometimes overlook is the availability of parts if yours break. Your stuff breaks, bro, right? So I kept it like that because not that those can go out of stock with Harley, but there's a lot more than there are certain other jugs, right? Or pistons. So I just wanted the convenience of it, which is why I kept my carbon fiber wheels at the stock size. Yeah. As stock, whatever I could keep stock or I could get stock. Yeah. Replace, excuse me, if it ever broke, which it hasn't. I'm forever in the crap out of it. Has to stay like that. So that's why I kept that. And It's also the max you can go on, the max compression you can go on the turbos, and I believe the Pro Chargers as well. Because Pro Charger is cool, but just a different beast. But those are really cool. Is 11 to 1 on your compression right now. It's higher obviously than the cars, but we got 2 pistons.
Yeah.
So 10-7 to 1 for me was like right there. You know what I mean? In terms of the cam, I could obviously go with a bigger cam and just make an extra 20-30 horsepower. And this is all on pump gas, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. But Trash recommended the SNS 550 cam, and so I got their whole cam chest kit and everything, and that's what it has in there. And I mean, and I haven't had a problem with it. The Thunder Max tuner, man, I will touch on that because it comes with it's not the cheapest, right? But you get what you pay for, and it comes with the wideband O2 sensors. It obviously has the software that is needed to handle the boost, right? And initially Trask, dropped them a map of the stuff that they had previously. I mean, they're the experts in this stuff. And when they built it for me again over in their shop over in Phoenix, at their speed shop, they dynoed it for me, but like just did all the tuning magic that they do, right?
Usually what they'll do is they'll take like some of these maps that's already been made, and they'll load that, and that'll be the base for them to come back and make the adjustments on like your specific model. Right.
So that's what they do at Sturgis and Daytona, but because Thundermax has I'll be 5% auto tuning kind of correction stuff, bro. That's money, bro. Yeah. Money. Unfortunately though, there's a lot of people that know how to tune Thundermax tuners for some reason. I'm not a tuner, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I just know they talk a lot about air to fuel ratio and some heat stuff, right? So that's what I can tell you.
The reason why that a lot of people don't do that is because they've always kind of been the it can do it itself brand, and they've only, I mean, I know they've done it for a long time, but DynoJet sells a dyno. And then they have a tuner. So it's like a lot of people go train to learn how to use the dyno on a DynoJet,
right? Of course.
So then your Power Visions and all those guys. And then you got certain shops are going to, almost every tuner is going to have their comfort tuning.
Right.
But what I don't like what they do is they say that this is the best when what they need to say is this is the only one I know how to work with. A TTS or this or that, when it's like, it's just what they're proficient at using is what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And so, same thing with like D&D, when they go to Sturgis, like you're putting these things on a bike that you need to tune, right? Yeah. Well, you can't, like they're not going to bring a mobile dyno and then now you're going to pay another $600 to have a dyno tune. Yeah. Because then you got to get a license from, like.
And I was going to say $600 is kind of on the low end nowadays.
Yeah, but like $600 to tune plus another $200 license from whatever the company is. So now you're back in the $800-900 range. You might as well get a Thundermax. So.
Yeah, that's where it kind of pays off. But yeah, man, but Thundermax, I'm a fan. And I don't know if they advertise if it's weather resistant or waterproof, but when I watch the turbo, I always take the seat off. And I wash it, this and that, or whatever. I know it gets wet, you know? I mean, I'm also not like dousing it, right? But it turns on and off, bro. I mean, it turns on, it turns off.
They're sealed. They're weather sealed.
Are they? Okay.
I wouldn't say like let's submerge underwater for
2,000 feet under, or bars or whatever. But no, man. I mean, I really like. I do feel that the Thundermax tuner, and of course, I'm gonna leave it to the expert, which is Trask, with the application that I have. Yeah. They know that combination is muddy, bro. I mean, you really can't mess with it. So Thundermax, I've never had an ECU problem. Yeah. And I've ridden the crap out of it in snow, bro. Yeah. In the desert, in rain. I just haven't ridden it on ice, like actual ice. That's the only terrain I haven't been on yet.
Yeah, I've never had any issues either. I mean, I've ridden it is probably every condition possible. Yeah. And the only conditions you really want to like, they really kind of make any kind of tuning hard is like if you come from like the mountains down below into like a different atmospheric pressure, but there's maybe a different moisture in, like there's configurations that can make it a little harder for it to make the adjustments. But I've never had an issue. Like I've gone, from here to there, up and down.
Well, a perfect example. I think we took the same route in different days from here to Sturgis, which is to Colorado, Wyoming, back over there, and then back. Like that's elevation.
You're going up
there,
and down, up and down. Yeah.
So
I've only kind of grazed things on the Lowrider ST as far as like what to do with it, and I put a cam in it, which I did the Woods. I went through
Woods is a really good cam.
Yeah, I went with Woods on the cam, but I went through fuck. Damn. It's like on the tip of my tongue. Up in Wisconsin as well.
You talking about the
Fuel
company?
Moto.
Oh, Fuel Moto.
Yeah,
okay,
so fuck. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I saw their logo in my head,
happens
but
all
I
the
couldn't
time.
say the words. So I went with Fuel Moto. They gave me a whole setup with everything, and I still need to get a throttle body. I got an intake.
Okay.
Like to get rid of the plastic intake they have, and I got bigger injectors.
Yeah.
The cam, Thundermax. I need to get an intake, and then I actually probably wouldn't mind just having it dyno tuned on top of the deal, but I should be able to, with the 117, I should be able to get in the 125-ish range, maybe.
Yeah, man. I mean, so the wood cams, you'd be surprised. I've heard nothing but good things about wood cams.
Yeah.
It's like surprisingly good and reliable as well. So you might be in the 130s at both.
That's
both
kind of
sides,
what they said it could be, but they said
Yeah.
that the throttle body is going to be and I haven't done a throttle body yet, but
yeah. Well, so the throttle body I have is 64, but the manifold on mine is from Ward. So it's more CNC ported on the turbo one.
Yeah.
And then in the injectors, they're 8.69.
Yeah, that's a lot.
On the turbo.
What's your gas mileage like on that damn thing?
You know what? If I'm on it, like on it, and look, let me just back up a little bit. On the Baker transmission, around fifth gear, 3,000 RPM, I'll be cruising at 90, no problem.
Okay.
Like effortlessly, right? So at that rate, bro, I haven't really measured it exactly, but it's not far from stock, if not a little better. Now, when I'm on it, though, even then on that, because I did do a video on that, I'm like at 32, 33 miles per gallon when I'm on it, bro. I'm like, because that turbo just sounds, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm on it. But again, the bike is lighter, but it's just, on the heads. The heads are the Screaming Eagle stage 4 heads, but that's it. Like new springs, new breathers, roller rocker arm kits, and I don't know, some holy water. I don't know, but so again, with all of that, I mean, maybe that has something to do with it. Obviously, the Check M8 Trask cover. Now, the thing I'm going to add that I have on my CVO build is the fueling a breather for the dipstick.
Okay.
That helps the engine breathe a lot better as well, and it just saves it. Of course, you have your external oil lines from the breathers, so all that little jazz. So
I've never messed with any of that breather stuff. Like I never really felt like I needed to, but so is what happened? Is that like helping the engine kind of cool better? Right.
Again, disclaimer, no expert here, but as a consumer experience, when I put it, the first time I put the Trask Check M8 trans cover on the 131 bike before it was turboed, it was in the stock 131 kit, if you will.
Yeah.
And I felt it be a little bit peppier and a little bit faster. So there's no measurement of if you install this, you're going to get 4 horsepower, right?
Yeah.
But I think what it is because the pressure in the engine and the case is relieved. And again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. It just works better. Therefore, it kind of frees it up on the fly, kind of stuff. But I felt it just peppier, peppier, quicker. And I already had the carbon fiber wheel, so I feel that maybe that's why, because the get up and go is a little bit more responsive on with that application. But yeah, so it just helps it breathe better. And as an example, it works because one time, actually, when I was going to Sturgis, you got to change the thing. So I will say this: you got to change the engine oil on the turbos every 2 to 2,500 1,000 miles, right? So, but I kind of enjoy it because you're kind of more in tune with what's going on with the engine in terms of the oil, right? And I overflowed my oil on my engine, and I'm going, and I'm hitting. Man, I was probably going 140, 150, brother, coming out of El Paso. And it was just, you've taken that road. It's just long road. Yeah. And I was like, this is it. Because there's 2 lanes going, a big median, and then 2 lanes coming. So if something happens, it's just me.
Yeah.
But, I'm going, man, I was going like that for miles, bro. Miles. And the engine was barely at, I don't know, 6th gear, 45, 5,000 RPM. And it just, boom, man, just smoking, man. And again, I just like back to my Gixxer 1000. I just feel connected, bro. I mean, you do all you need is one little armadillo, and then that's it, But no, man. I mean, when I pulled over, put gas, I had oil coming out. I was like, man, there we go. I should have gotten the speed limit and blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't know, 15 hours or 8 hours away from Houston and blah blah. Well, I couldn't remember I was talking about the leaks. You can find them. I couldn't find a leak, bro. So the leak was coming. So on the Check MA cover, where they recommend for you to put that hose with the little filter, is up into like your side panel. So I had on my swing arm, I had a bunch of oil coming down toward my swing arm, but not in the engine. It's like, bro, my transmission's on that side, the sprocket's on this side. What the hell's going on? And I was like, man. So I turned the engine on, and I saw smoke coming behind the side cover on the right side. The hell? So I loosen up the bag, I take it off, and sure enough, the extra oil with the extra pressure that was building up in the engine at that speed was coming out through the filter and coming out. So it was doing his job. And then I got me a little turkey baster, worked it out. But I was like, it works.
Yeah.
It works. I mean, I totally messed up, but
it's
it
like
works.
a catch can kind of thing, what they used to do on like
a lot of guys put those
cars,
catch cans. Yeah. Shit, I got one in my truck now, but yeah. But yeah, man. But no, that's kind of what I did with that, man. And again, I just wanted to prove that it's reliable and you can do it, and you can. You just have to pay to play kind of deal, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like
you can't like dabble in it. You either gotta really check all the boxes and do it right for the reliability and the warranty ish, if there's anything like that,
right?
Or you got to kind of stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Cause
Again, like you say, you have to do it right once, and again, it's a lesson that I've learned in my older age versus like, I got this pipe, I want to get it on, and I want to roll, but you have to tune it, like we were talking about, or whatever. So,
it's also like identifying what you actually want. Like, why do you want it? And like ask yourself, what is it? What are you gonna do with this bike? Or do you need that? Do you not? Are you like how you're saying, like this? When you ride, like you want this feeling. This is something it's almost like your high you're chasing, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think it's a combination of a lot of things, right? I think it's just, for one, enjoying life, right? And whatever your passion is, or one of your passions is, because look, just kind of keeping it really base. Like, I love what I do. I love these motorcycles, everybody that I've met, but family's number one, brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm a father and I'm a husband first and foremost, and I'm proud of that. You know what I'm saying? And everything else is on the wayside. Fortunately, all that is great. Fortunately, all that is great. So I can focus on this as well. So, but I've I don't want to. It's so cliche to say, hey, I've been an adrenaline junkie or whatever like that. But I just like, I guess it's kind of like the 1600-mile thing. On this build, on this engine, mind you, right? Like, it's almost like, I don't want to say define the odds, but I want to like, and when I say prove, it's not that I feel like I have anything to prove to anybody. It's just a challenge for myself. Yeah, prove it's yourself. Like a challenge, It's like, hey, you're 45, can you still do 10 miles? Well, I don't know, but we're gonna give it a shot. I'll stop at 5, and I'll be fine with it. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But it's almost like self-imposed challenges for absolutely no reason. Absolutely no reason. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I do say, hey, man, we're 5 away from 50, and it's still a good age. It's not knocking on age, but we are getting older. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So in a year, you don't know what happens. In 4, 5, and 6, you don't know what happens. Health is, if you got health, you're wealthy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I always think that if you can, and you have the will, you should at least try it. Versus, because I have a lot of people that I know, and not to bust them out or anything like that, but I have a lot of people I know that are too scared to do that, or not too scared. It's just they beat themselves in their mind before they even walk out the door. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, papito, like or dude, like, hey man, you gotta, just try it, bro. Try it. And if you don't finish it, fine, that's okay. Nobody knows anything. So again, to answer your question, it's just self-imposed challenges that I kind of want to do, which I was going to do anyway. So I figured might as well share it with everybody that cares to see it. And that's kind of how that whole YouTube thing started for me, to be honest.
Well, yeah. So I have a lot of those kind of self-imposed challenges, if you will, myself. And it's like, it's one of those weird things, right? Because I guess some people, maybe it's in my head, like if you're doing it for yourself, then they would ask, well, why would you put it out there for other people? But it's kind of like, well, I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess you gotta, for me, sometimes I gotta ask myself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I want to tell people I did it? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think the first time I did 1,000 miles, in a day, it was, I wanted to tell people I did it. But then it's kind of easy. Yeah. So then you do it so much that it never, you don't even, it becomes like an Instagram story. Well, there's another grand in a day, and then it's just like that's it, right?
Yeah.
But to like chime in on the 1600, like I've attempted it twice, and the first time I left New York and was headed home, which is from where we were on Long Island to my doorstep, essentially here was 1,600 miles, and I was like, well,
that's a route.
If I can get to Texas. If I get to Texas, there's no point in, because I'm going to be coming through Texarkana. There's no point in stopping.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going.
That's true. That's true.
And I talked about it a long time ago on the podcast. I was on the 131. I rode up to Milwaukee. They installed it. Then I rode to Indian Larry Block Party. And then I was smashing home. Well, there was a hurricane coming through. And, well, actually, back it up. I got to Memphis. And right when you're coming into Memphis on 40, it kind of takes you on the north side of town. My compression release shot out of the motor, the top of the motor. So, and if it was on a twin cam, it'd be impossible. I mean, you'd have to pull the whole rocker assembly off to get to it. But it was on the M8. You have it's kind of like in there where one of the spark plugs is next to, or next to one of the spark plugs. But you still have to remove the tank, kind of remove the oil lines to get in there and fix it. But mind you, it's 12 a.m. No, it's 10 p.m. and I'm literally it's dark. I don't know what the fuck just happened.
Like the worst conditions. It's always in the worst conditions, right? Yeah.
And I'm in like the worst part of town, and so I realized what it is, and I kind of just turn it on and limp it to a hotel, grab a hotel, get all my stuff on there, gather my thoughts, and I figure out what it is. And I had Rusty, Black Charlotte is out there. He has a turbo bagger as well. I think he's got it for sale right now. So he came to help me the next day. So that kind of nixed me at 1150 is where it got me at. Then leaving Key West last year, it was like right at 1,500 miles to my doorstep from Key West here. And I got to Vicksburg, Mississippi, and I was like, I don't care about it that bad. Once again, 1150, I can't get past 1150 to save my life. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
I don't know.
I mean, it's
both times went through a hurricane though, by the way.
Yeah, well, you took the words from my mouth. A lot of it has to do with the weather, right? And the conditions of that weather, right? And the timing of that weather, right? So when I attempted my first 1,000, I did it. And that's when I bought my CBO up in the DC area. I mean, Fairfax, but it's right outside of DC. Yeah. And it was actually not planned because I rode from there to Roanoke and I spent the night. But brother, this is January, and it was like 25, bro, 25 degrees. You hear me?
There's probably snow up there, wasn't there?
Yeah, I missed it.
They plow.
I missed it. I missed the snow, but it was like 20-something degrees. So the only reason I stayed at Roanoke versus this town maybe 30 minutes before that is because the temperature degree, again, to try to make this difference, was going to be 4 degrees cooler in Roanoke versus at that place. But Roanoke was almost 1,000 miles, a little bit more than 1,000 miles from my home over in Houston. So I was like, but the next day, I could do rain. At this point, I could do rain and I could do cold, but I just don't want to do it together. I'm just not built that way. Did my stuff in the Army.
Yeah.
That, whatever, right? So that was a Saturday. That Sunday, we're gonna have like a weather situation we have here, but with the cold weather, I was like, I can't do it. I need to try to get home like now. Well, I started taking my pictures of the receipts, like the Iron Butt Association request, suggests, and did all that. So I read it out the night before. Wake up at 3 and I'm burning, brother. It was still probably like 28 degrees. So you got the wind chill factor, and I like to go fast, brother. I'm going 55. You hear me? And so I'm going 55, and eventually I get to wherever, and then I'm in Tennessee, and then somehow I pass Georgia. I don't know how it worked out. No.
Well, if you went south to Chattanooga,
I did.
Then you'll cut through Georgia just a bit before you get into Alabama.
Okay, there you go. I went to Alabama, and then instead of going, I guess, kind of like over towards Tyler area, Henderson, back area, I ended up going down south to Slidell, Louisiana, right, and then cut across. So I did that, and because of the cold, I stopped a lot. So at the end of the day, man, I rode for 23 hours straight on that bike. Well, stops included, because I had to pull over so much because I was just cold. Right now, I had my heat gear jacket on, but not my pants, and I totally messed up.
Yeah.
So, brother, I mean, it was there when I got home. I was like, "Hey, happy to see you," and I was like, I was bundled up. I was like, "Get all that stuff on me," bad mood, and you smell, but I felt accomplished.
Yeah,
I felt accomplished, and I submitted my stuff. Boom, I got it. Like, yeah, nice. Whatever. So then I got the thought, hey, I'm sure a lot of people want to do 1,000 miles, but they don't want to do it alone. So that was in January. So in April, a few months later, I made a video on Instagram and on YouTube. Hey, all riders are welcome. You can come join me, this and that, and we'll do 1,000 miles. But I just wanted to, we're born and raised in Texas, right? So we're real proud of Texas, right? And I was like, we'll just do 1,000 miles in Texas. Totally possible. So the route was from the Houston area over here to Dallas, San Angelo, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, and then back up to Houston.
Damn.
So
I'm just thinking about that in my head. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. So ultimately, including myself, it was 13 people that showed up, man. And I had met a few other people before, but none of us had ran together ever before.
Yeah.
So a lot of my buddies like, bro, you're kind of like a suicide mission here, brother. I was like, no, bro. Good vibe, good energy, and do the best you can to kind of, I don't want to say lead, but just lead the route or whatever, and stop when you have to stop, and that's it. This is only the second time I attempted it. And I'm like, let me do it with all these people. So my wife jokes with me. She says, of course, the first group ride you decide to do is 1,000 miles. I was like, well, I guess when you put it that way, I guess. But yeah, cool. Well, we go, this and that, I-20, San Angelo, beautiful area and stuff. We get in San Antonio, that's good stuff. In San Antonio, we lose one. Including myself, was 13. At that point, it was 12, right?
Yeah.
And he stayed there. I think he could have gone, but he I think he had some fun waiting for him in San Antonio, and I'll just leave it at that. So it is what it is, bro, right? Yeah. So anyhow, so from San Antonio, I mean, we're tired, but when we got out, it was kind of like outside of Bernie, right? Outside of Bernie, and Joel, he's the only guy that rides the Indian, right? And he tells me, hey, man, we need some gas. I was like, man, it's like, we just pulled up. I'm the one with the turbo.
Yeah.
Man, he was going through gas so much in the Indian. Well, it turns out he was in sport mode.
Oh, shit.
So it was sucking up more gas than my 200-some horsepower engine bike.
Yeah.
So finally we get there, and he pulls up next to me, and we pull over. I was like, hey, dude, like, what's up? He's like, how many more miles can you go? And we have no idea. We were that close to Bernie. And he says, he does this. And I'm like, okay, fine. We could have gotten gas, but we're trying to save time here. So ultimately, we made it to the gas station outside of Bernie, and then we put in San Antonio. But outside of Bernie, I was like, hey, man, is this as long as you guys have traveled? Man, these guys are telling me maybe 300, some 400. I think one guy had gone further than that, or all of it and stuff. And I was like, wow. But I always checked up with them and that they were good, right? So we go through San Antonio, and I've never really been on the road from San Antonio that takes you to Corpus, but people fly down that highway.
Yeah,
I had no idea. They just fly down there, bro.
Because there's nothing.
It's
pretty much just like farmland.
Well, we were passing to the San Antonio during Fiesta.
Oh, shit.
I didn't know.
It's a good time down there. I've been there a couple times.
Yeah, it's a good time. But so we ended up not making it to Corpus because we didn't have to at that point. We're trying to save time. So we made it right outside of Corpus, right? Like 20 minutes outside. Mm-hmm. But mentally, and I know you probably feel the same way, when you leave in the morning and you have the sun come up and you ride in the daytime, that's one thing. But when you leave in the morning, you have the sun come up, you ride all day, and then the sun comes back down, mentally and visually, it's almost like a mind fuck. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa, Fortunately, my buddy Knuckles TV also has a channel as well. He had just got the Baja Designs thing, and he was we were riding, so his side, he was next to me, and he lit the whole road, bro. And it was a godsend, because that area, or maybe it was just how that night, or full moon or something, or not full moon, it was just pitch black dark, bro.
Yeah.
Dark, man. So we made it, and so we ended up getting into to Houston. This is all I did it on a Friday. The reason I did it on a Friday was because if anybody broke down or anything like that, at least there's a Harley-Davidson dealership close by. Yeah, it was a Friday we did it. And then, so anyway, so we get there, and we're about, I don't know, an hour away from Houston, and we pull over, maybe a little bit more, and we pull over, fuel up, and I saw all the guys just kind of doing this, and, they're tired and this, and I was like, hey, guys, this is the hardest part of this whole run. This is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah.
I was like, but I'm proud of you guys, and we're going to do it. Getting around, we're going to do it. Because you start seeing defeat sometimes, right?
Yeah.
It didn't happen, But it's like, nah, brother, just kind of like reading people. I was like, nah, man, we could do, get together, this and that. We talk, whatever. And we got on the bikes and we go. Boom. Well, we get into Houston. Around we got into Houston, some of the guys were pulling up to me like, hey, I already got it. I was like, fuck yeah. At that point, we're coasting. They already got the 1,000 miles on the bike. So we get over to where we started, which was Keeneland Harley-Davidson, and we're there. And funny thing was that, well, we passed Keeneland Harley-Davidson because we stopped at the gas station that we started off to get our last gas receipt, right? Mm-hmm. Well, everybody's there, and again, you saw the video. I don't know if you've seen it, but everybody's there having a good time. And but Knuckles, his wife, was waiting for us over there. And we just see this white vehicle coming in hot. I was like, man, we're going to get shot up here? What's going on? Saturday night, or Friday night. Hey, guys, I was waiting for you guys over there. She had the 1,000 congratulations and balloons all cool. Set up and this and that. But we didn't stop there. She had to come over here. And so we did that. So that's a picture that we kind of used and shared on Instagram and everything like that. So it was good. How
many hours did it take to do it all with the group?
It was about, it was less than 19. It was about 18 and 40 or something like that.
Did y'all stop? Like how'd you plan your stops? Was it like a timed thing?
So I planned my stops on the cities, and I planned my stops to where gas stations were catty corner from each other because I didn't know how many people were going to show up.
Yeah.
So that's how I planned them. So I planned them like in Dallas, the Buc-ee's like Madisonville, yeah, because we're all older dudes. We had to pee, so that was the thing I told them. Like, if we're riding and something happens and somebody else or something, or you need to pull over, flash your lights until it gets to me and keep flashing them. And then if you flash them once, it's like, hey, just get pull over in the next gas station. If you flash them a lot, we got to stop now. And that's kind of like the little visual, rule we had. And it worked out great, but nobody's bike broke down. Somebody lost a tail light or the little custom dynamic little filler light. Everybody did well. And then the next day, because you're still hyped up the next day. I organized this thing at this place in Galveston, like right off the beach, awesome. Just hang out. Everybody caged it. You know what I'm saying? Brought the wives and stuff. Had a good time and just talked up shop. Just like
cool, yeah.
And so for me, it was like. On the humane kind of side, it's like, oh man, this is awesome, dude. These are all grown men. They didn't know each other. Now we're like family, bro. We got a text message group and hang out here. And I just, me personally, and I never even told these guys that, but I felt I felt like such a good human being. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt good. You know what I mean? That I was able to share that. And then they have those memories. So then I was like, well, we got to do 1,500, brother. We got to do 15K. We 1,500. So I knew that the fastest route, well, initially I was going to go towards Florida, come back. But, Baton Rouge, that whole area on I-10, it's kind of hit or miss. You got, the Slida area once you kind of pass I-12 into I-10 again, and then on those constructions. So there's a lot of kind of little research that I did. But ultimately, we're going to go past Tallahassee and then come back the same day, right? But I was like, man, a subscriber on my YouTube or my Instagram said, hey, man, don't forget there's El Paso. I'm like, man, but I already went and came back from. I had like PTSD from that route because it was so cold coming back from Trask, with the bike and what time
December. Of year was this?
So this was when I came back with Trask.
No, for
this one here, we just did it October 7th, I believe. For some reason, that's that's something else in Israel. But it was like mid-October. So I changed the route and I started making my educated decisions here to go to El Paso and back. And then Grayson, that had done the 1,000 miles with me, one of the guys, he said, hey, do you think we can stop at Barney and Harley-Davidson in El Paso? I was like, looked it up, blah, blah, blah. I was like, actually, that's kind of like the halfway mark. Yeah, absolutely. It's off of I-10 from our house, from where we're at.
What is it from Houston to there?
Man, it's like 800 and some miles,
it is?
I believe. Okay. Yeah, off of I-10, you know, so it's like something like that. So we went over there. I mean, it might be less. We went over there, and dude, so when I show up, it was only Reese. Reese, that was a King Harley-Davidson again. That was a thing, and nobody else. And I knew it was going to be a smaller group because things happen, people can't make it, but it's also like. It's a different. There's levels to this kind of stuff. Is what I'm trying to say. Not that anybody can't, but there's different levels, and you have to have a certain mindset to kind of get these things done. And to stick to it. So, And so I see him. I was like, all right, cool. Well, he had rode in from Austin the day before. And I met him by the Bush Airport. Hey, man, thanks for coming. This and that. I had some few drinks. Like, all right, man, see you tomorrow. So we started talking. He's in the Marine Corps. He was 10 years. My oldest son, he's in the Marine Corps. Oh, congratulations. I believe your daughter's a soldier now?
Yeah, she's Army.
So, Army? Yeah, I was in the Army, too. That's cool, man. Yeah, it's that. So when they join, we all join. But that's a different conversation, right? Because you have to support. But anyways, so, hey, we started talking, chit-chat. I was like, all right, brother. I was like, cool. So he shows up there and nobody else. But Grayson was going to meet us over in the Katy Buc-ee's because he lives kind of in that area. So we rode over there and met him there. Well, from there, blah, 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 dabbed it up, pulled up the pants, boom, we gone. Damn. And this time it was about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And it was a cool morning, but not freezing. And it was just like, bliss, bro. It was like fucking heaven, man. I mean, it's just the love of riding, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you're there. And again, none of the all these guys are regular guys. And when I say what I mean by regular guys is nobody has a shop. I think most of us started like I did. In full disclosure, you go to the Harley-Davidson dealership, you see a bike you like, and you're like, hey, can you turn it on so I can hear it? Oh, that sounds awesome. It's stock. Yeah. But in your mind at the time, you're like, oh my God, this is great. But it's not. At the end of the day, you just void your warranty for everything. But anyway, so we were just going, man, and we just had a great, we burned into San Antonio, bro, and I kind of, whatever. So at the end of kind of backing up to the 1,000-mile group, I started calling them Group 1 because my intention is to do it yearly for everybody, but I don't know what's going to happen. But they started calling themselves the Dirty Dozen. And I was like, oh, so everything was a hashtag Dirty Dozen, right? So with these guys, it was like the Three Musketeers or the Three Amigos or something we're trying to figure out. So that's kind of worked out. But now we burned through San Antonio, and before you know it, we're in El Paso. Yeah. We're in fucking El Paso, like eating Subway out of Love's. Like, what? And they're like, we've ridden like that, but it was just so surreal because we left so early, so we made up some time.
Do you feel like doing any of this stuff, there's things that you want to, like, stop and smell the roses ever?
100%, which is my next evolution this year coming up. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we've gone...
I think that a lot of people start that way. I remember when I first started traveling across the country, it was like the destination is the only thing. Right now, the destination for you is like this challenge, right? Mm-hmm. Well, then the destination for me originally was like, okay, I'm going to LA, so I just got to get to LA. I'm doing 1,100 to Phoenix, and then from Phoenix, it's another 450 miles or so to LA. I'm like, that's it. Nothing. Yeah. I'm not stopping. I'm not checking anything out. And I don't know. After you've done it a few times, you get to a point where like, man, I really want to like go that back road and see that. Yeah. See that route or whatever. That's where I'm at today, brother. Okay. That's where I'm at today. This next year is like I said, I want to do some racing, but racing is an 1/8 mile, quarter-mile race, so it's not like you're on a drag race?
Yeah, I want a drag race. I also want to do some street stuff within reason. Yeah. But I really the whole racing thing is you want to get some W's, but it's just me just kind of checking the boxes of a full rounded rider. Eventually, I like to do some track stuff, but I'm not there. I don't got the money for it. I don't got the bike for it yet. Maybe I can hook up the turbo, but they're limited to a 107 when you have a boosted application. So
something on a track though, you'd want to start on something and just learn because the rider's faster on the track for the most part. You know? It's only when you get in the high level that like, okay, now with the 100 or 200 horsepower, now it's competitive advantage. You know what I mean?
Which is kind of the fun part. It's like, hey, the first time you're going to race is going to be a 200 horsepower bagger. It's like, I don't know. Again, back to the Gixxer, right? Back to the Gixxer.
It's easy when it's a straight line.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
you're halfway turned over on this, and then you throttle too much, and it.
Although on the straight lines, though, you still have to learn how to let go of the clutch, put this 2K, whatever, and then go and then shift and not miss. There's still little things like that, and of course the tree, the tree thing. So that's kind of. Fortunately, we have every Friday night in Houston. You can drag race like anybody can drag race. So that's where I'll be going. Yeah. But that aside, like when it goes to Daytona, Sturgis, or wherever, Polaroid maybe. I might do that this year or this in a couple of months or so. I definitely want to just, ride.
Come to the camp out and go ride with the fast group on Talamina. Most people don't make it back from that.
Yeah. So I was going to go last year to yours, but I wasn't able to because, ironically, work had me come here for that time frame, and then I went back to Houston, and I just lost because I was supposed to meet up with Dwayne and ride and this and that, but that just busted. But I was able to go at least scope out the place for Adam's thing that just happened. America, So I got the layout, and I can definitely see why you have it there.
Yeah.
Have you seen Adam's costume party competition over there?
This costume party?
Or not party, but the costume competition thing?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, it's a good time. It's a good time. But anyways, so yeah, man. So we rode back, and then Grayson says about a Prada store off of Marfa. I had never heard of it. I don't know, have you been to it?
I was close one year, but I decided not to go there. There's a lot of times there's lines there.
Really? Yeah. When we got there, I mean, there was just an 18-wheeler that somebody parked, but it wasn't bad. I mean, but it was just out in the middle of nowhere. And again, it's on the video. And I was like, what the hell? So we went there, and I think we're kind of tiptoeing in Big Bear area or mountains and stuff. And again, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Well, nightfall hits us, and we're back at I-10. And I don't think I'll ever do something like that at that speed.
Oh, so you were coming back?
Mm-hmm. Okay. We went back. Well, the Marfa, we went back that way.
Okay, yeah. So you went when you were going there or coming back?
Coming back.
All right, so you dropped down in Van Horn and then cut through Valentine, Marfa, Alpine.
Oh, the whole area.
Yeah, because you kind of cross, like, after you cross Marfa, you got a little bitty small little mountain pass. Mm-hmm. It's not huge, but it'll slow you down when you go through those towns and you have to go.
Yeah.
You know.
So it went down that way, and then we get back on I-10, and right before you go, coming from El Paso, going into Fredericksburg, that whole area, there's a lot of bedrock, a road within that bedrock. Mm-hmm. Bro, it's pitch black to dark. And
deer everywhere out there, too.
Okay, right. So Grayson at that point, because just kind of like the riding formation, a lot of people harp on that, and that's fine. I can follow. I don't have any. I was like, you want to be in the front, go in the front. You want to be in the side. If there's 2-3 lanes spread out, like, I don't care. It's just as long as we're safe, to whatever your riding ability is. So with that being said, Grayson was in the front. Man, we were going, our average speed was probably like about $110.
Damn.
Right? Yeah. Because when we would stop, we were going so fast that we would make up the time that we stopped on the road. So that was kind of the objective, right? But on the way back, we were going probably about 90, 95, and Grayson took the lead, and he has pretty much a stock, not the Road Glide, but the Limited, right? Like all that stuff, brother. Him and then Reese has a brand new 23 Road Glide Special. Like the stock, I think the only thing he had was like a Reinhardt exhaust or something like that. And man, these guys were running the crap out of these bad boys. These stock 114s, I am impressed, brother. Yeah. I am impressed. So anyhow, but we're going about 90, 95 miles an hour down this stuff in pitch black dark.
Yes.
Whatever. And that's where it got really cold, right?
Yeah.
And that's where it was like, damn. And we did that for miles, bro.
Yeah.
Finally, we get in San Antonio. It's Saturday, and then some traffic, but we burned through there. We stopped at Buc-ee's in the Gonzales area. Good time, came over here, and we made it back, and then we finished it. And the goal was to finish 1,500, but by the time I look at the odometer, it was like 1,620 something. So that's why I titled the video like that. Damn. And I was like, fuck. And I asked Grayson, what was it? Because he has this other app, and I had my timing and everything. It was 23 hours and 38 minutes.
So how does that work? Because wasn't the Iron Butt stuff, like, didn't they have a limitation where you couldn't do it too fast because they didn't want you like cannonball racing?
Yeah, they do have that, but the challenge. So the thing is, if you did the 1,500 bun burner in 24 hours or less, you get the gold status, and then I believe in about 30 or 36 hours you get the silver status, plus the 1,000 mile patch. So you get the 1,000, either the gold or the silver 1,500. So I just figured if they're offering a 1,500 gold status, then that should be within it, aside from being like in 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, it was a good ride. It was a good run. It was definitely proud of the guys. But I don't know if I'll do that again. Was, and if I do, it'll be a little while, but that was physically tasking, And then you got to think, bro, it's like all day on the bike.
Yeah.
Food, you're snacking, your hydration's not there, your nutrition's not there. I don't care if you ate there is little things I do to prepare for it. Like, a couple of days before I'll do some exercise. Nothing crazy. I'm not like, fighting weight or whatever, but just some kind of exercise, calisthenics. Either it is walking, little push-ups, sit-ups, stuff like that. And then I rest and I drink a bunch of water to where I'm peeing all night, right? Yeah. And then I'll eat very hearty meals, but specifically right before I go to bed, I'll have like a huge baked potato with whatever you want, whatever your thing is, and with some protein in it.
Yeah.
You eat that and you get a bunch of carbs and stuff. And then I get this is just oral omnitrix. I'll get some like some stuff like Bengay or Oxy Hot or something like that, and I cake it on the bottom of my feet, and I put wool socks over it or any socks, and I sleep like that. So what it does is it soothes your nerves down there on your feet and your feet and stuff. So when you're riding in the vibration and stuff and all that, it kind of it's not as like so like impactful. So you kind of prep your body for it. This is what we do when we run like our 10 miles or more and jump in and whatever. So I just revert to that and it kind of works. Yeah. Just little tricks like that. Of course, you need some gold powder for your business down there. Yeah. Just little things like that. Whatever. Everybody's chemistry is different. So if you sweat a lot, do this. If you don't, whatever. But those are a few little things that I do to prepare for those kind of things.
I'm usually like 5 energy drinks, one every stop, a Snickers every stop, a bag of chips. Usually the longest stop is when it's all shooting out of my ass, 400 miles into it.
Oh, you also have to pack wipies. I'm sure you know that.
Oh, yeah. So my wife does that shit. She packs my bag with all that kind of stuff. But no, I look at it like I never do it in a loop. I'm always like leaving Dallas. I've always said like if you do a 1,000-mile radius, like you just want to get out of here to go experience the other parts of the country. So whether you're going to Maine or Washington or LA, it's like let me just get this first 1,000 out of the way, and then I can kind of slow roll it from here on out. But early on, back in the day in my bike club, I was the president of a bike club, and we had it to where every prospect could not patch over until they did an iron butt.
Okay.
So
the 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would do 2 rides a year. One would be to we would go to San Francisco every year, and then we'd do another one where we went to Sturgis every year. So each time, if we had prospects, they had the opportunity to get to patch over, but only twice, because it had to be on a group ride. It couldn't just be like I'm gonna go do 1,000 miles.
It has to be verified, of course.
Yeah. So, and we would like go from here in Dallas to Laramie, Wyoming, and there's most of us would just take 287.
That's a ride.
Well, yeah. If you take 287, you go the fastest route. It ends up being like right at 900.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. So another group, they would have to leave before us, and they would go from here to Sherman, and then take that highway that kind of runs along the border all the way across to Wichita Falls. Yeah. That adds like an extra 60 miles.
Okay.
And then when we get up to, I guess it's whatever that fort is up there north of Denver, that's Fort Collins, I believe. It's like a big college town.
Yeah. It's
so
up there.
Right there is where we would split off and stay on 287, and that takes us into Laramie, Wyoming, because it's right on the border. Yeah. And then the guys again would have to go to Cheyenne and then cut over, and that gives them the extra 50 miles. So we had all these routes kind of planned, but when we would go to California, if we were doing the southern way going to LA first, it was always like Dallas to Phoenix, which is right at 1,100.
Yeah. So, Because Houston to Phoenix is about 14, 13, I think, something like that. So
because you got
which is pretty much I-10 the whole way.
So what I've done too is I've done the El Paso thing a lot. Sometimes I've never liked coming back the same way. I always like loops, like whatever. Yeah. But I got to a point where I like riding the mountains through like Alamogordo and Cloudcroft and all that stuff. Yeah. And solo, man, I can rip through those towns like Carlsbad, New Mexico, or Artesia, however you say it. Like, there's not a lot of cars out there, not a lot of cops, and if you're just one bike, you can kind of rip around people and it doesn't cause a fuss. But you got 5, 6, 7 bikes, and you're all coming in at 100 miles an hour and going around cars. They always call ahead to the towns, or they call the cops on us. Really? And we've had it happen in New York and different parts of the country a lot, and we won't even be hauling ass. It's just
no kidding.
We're going around cars in these, on these back roads instead of, on the major highway.
On the major
highway, they don't give a shit. But
yeah, I could see that.
So it's how, like, I don't know. There's different ways. I've always more adopted the slow and steady wins the race thing. So I would leave. I like to leave early in the morning because I think, like you said, you're so. The hardest thing is to go to sleep the night before because you're so ready.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about that. Yeah.
So, getting to sleep is the hardest part. And then if you can get to sleep, if you can at least get 4 or 5 hours in and then wake up, you're on the road at 3:30, 4 at the latest.
That's a good time. Aside from when it's freezing outside. Yeah. Because even in the summertime, bro, like August going to Sturgis, 3 o'clock is the money. Yeah. To leave. Like,
because you get, obviously Houston and Dallas is kind of the same boat. It's like you want to get out of this place before everybody's life gets turned back on.
Yeah.
And the highways are all cluttered with traffic and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude, because it's not fun, and it happens. It happens. I mean, because you got to think, you got Houston, Dallas, and then Austin, San Antonio, and so it's like the big and then El Paso way out there. But yeah, man. But no, man. Yeah, I mean, just like riding out there and stuff, but to what you're saying, it's always cool from here going to Sturgis in the morning, but coming back, man, it's hot, bro, because you're in the daytime already by the time you get here.
Yeah, I haven't. Man, I don't know. 2 years in a row, I left Sturgis and continued going west, and ever since then, I don't know. I just, to me, like Sturgis is a every year thing, but it's almost like it's a jump off for something. I need it to be a jump off. Yeah. I don't know about going east from Sturgis because there's such a gap between like some actual good riding, or scenic or whatever you would say.
Yeah.
But man, going west, it's like from Sturgis to like Salt Lake is 350 miles.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It's a little ride. But do you operate a drone as well?
I have one, but I suck at it.
I'm in a learning curve. I just kind of like the clips you see is just from the steady going back or forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're hard. My going there is so bad that I actually just hit reverse, and it shows like we're backing up, but it's actually reversed. Yeah. Just to kind of not, just to salvage that
yeah,
footage.
So let's talk about the YouTube stuff, man. Like, what was the?
You want some of this, dude?
Yes, I need more ice now.
All right, so I know, like I said, you like whiskey. But this is not whiskey.
Tequila makes me horny, though, so get ready.
All right. Well, good thing we're in Dallas. No. Okay, maybe you shouldn't have this. No. No, so there's different levels of tequila, right? Now, like, the thing is, like, this is, like, 105 of 240, so there's no more that are being made of it. This is it. But and I'm not a expert of any liquor, but what I will say about this, you can check it out, is that it's made and brewed in like oak barrels at a certain level in elevation over in Mexico, right? And it's, I want to say 18 years or something like that. And
sounds good.
All right. Smooth. Yeah, I mean it's like that person that likes to eat fish, but not fish that tastes like fish or smells like fish. Yeah. Like give me some halibut or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this here, it's like an añejo, I believe. There's a couple of, which is like the darker or the silver one. Again, I'm not an expert, so if I'm saying that wrong, y'all let me know. But well, it is añejo. It says right there. But it happened. It's like they just have that one batch and that's it. So this bad boy was about $280.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But bro. It's money, man. It's money. So when we zip on this, it's literally just sipping. It's literally just sipping. It's not
That's
like,
what I need to do.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I just sip it. I mean, you can do that to this one, but you can just sip on it, brother, and before you know it, you're good. So I just give you that so you can let me know what you think, man. But it has a really good kind of taste.
Yeah.
All right, here, let's see.
Oh yeah, that's real smooth.
Right?
Yeah, I'm used to like Patron shots where I can't. I have to do them.
Hold on.
I have to do that fucking cold. I can't.
You got everybody says that the textbook lick.
Yeah,
and so,
yeah.
No, man, but this is like I said, it has like a cognac, like.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It has like even gives you good breath, bro. But not the.
No, it's not bad, dude.
Yeah, I mean, see, and there you go, bro. You want a little taste?
I'm good.
You sure? Okay. But no, man, it's
he
good.
Gets really horny.
I'll leave the bottle for you guys.
He's just over there rubbing his nipples.
But yeah, man. But this is really good. This is just for special occasions. So
nice.
Here we are. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. But anyways, so you want to talk about the video stuff, right?
Yeah, man. I think that it's a plunge for anybody to literally try to go into that world. I mean, making YouTube content, especially after I've been trying to do it for a while now, it's like it's an endeavor, man. It's not, it's definitely not, it's not like just taking a cool picture and posting it on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're an artist with what you do. I've seen your stuff, and I haven't even told you, but I mean, your painting, your skills, your I saw a video you did where you're like drawing with a wet pencil or whatever they call it and stuff. I was like, that's art, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just looking at your stuff, the bikes. I mean, seriously, man. Like, it's art. Something I will never have. But I definitely recognize good stuff, right? And you have it, man. It's like it's just, it's for me. Again, since I'm having problems explaining how I feel about it, is my way of saying I don't have that creative mind. You know what I'm saying? But to the YouTube thing, you have to have a creative mind. If not, you have to develop one. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know there's different categories of creativity, but again, I just wanted to start it by, my video by like, hey, I got a new motorcycle and I want to share. I was going to do this stuff anyways, right?
Yeah.
But as it continued, as it evolved, the more I was like, I need better picture quality.
Yeah.
I need better sound. I need better lighting.
Yeah.
Just all that stuff, right? I need better editing, drafting and stuff. So thankfully for YouTube, there's a lot of stuff on there, but it just takes so much time to learn it, especially when you're self-taught. I've never taken a college course or anything. So, but you definitely have to continue to develop it, and you have to want to like it.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to get discouraged, brother.
Yeah, I mean, doing a podcast is hard. It's easy to get discouraged.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is like you just said a lot of the kind of the roadblocks, if you will, or the hurdles that you have to kind of jump over to kind of start to create. But then you also got to be like conscientious of yourself and how you come off, and you got to tune yourself to be something that people would actually listen to, right? The image, right? Yeah, it's like sometimes some people can be the best at the cinematography and everything else, but they just can't do it in front of the camera, you know? And some people can do it all in front of the camera, but they just can't like discipline themselves enough to go learn the craft. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of both, and I feel like I've gotten more comfortable being in this space, but I still do not feel as comfortable as I wish that I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because so this January 28th is 2 years that I started this whole YouTube thing, right?
Yeah.
Instagram too. I didn't have nothing or anything like that before. So, but I found myself that as time went, I was like, oh, let me do this editing. Let me add the drone, like we're talking about. Let me add this camera or whatever. Let me do a little voiceover, which was kind of new to me, and what to say. But you bring a really good point, man, in terms of your image, right? What do you want to promote for yourself? You want to be the person that is just doing whatever you want to do, whether it's good or not, or do you want to have this certain image that you're comfortable with, right? Because at the end, none of it is wrong. It's just whatever works for you, or what's ever good for you, right? And that. I guess people call it marketing branding, right? Like people are watching the podcast because of you. You got good people on here. You know what I'm saying? So obviously who you bring on, but it's your podcast, right? But it's your podcast, you know? Like your video that you posted when you went to Linda, or the other one, recent one, I mean, you got good views off of that, and that's you, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's you. So, but yeah, your image, if you want to be the guy that's the know-it-all, like the loudest guy in the room, or the gray guy, the gray man, right? That has to do a lot, and then the internet's not friendly, brother. People will keyboard ninjas, and it hurts some feelings or two. But again, go back to where Tom, you have to have strong feelings, and I know what we're doing, the performance bagger thing, or what we do and stuff. It's not a big market. I don't believe it is. I mean, it's a big market for us, but the majority is the people that are coming. With a brand new Harley, or whether it's used but new to them, and just a cam job or an exhaust or just some bars or a sound system, and that's it. There's at this kind of level and stuff. There's not that many. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like you have to go into whatever niche you're going to go into that you like, knowing if it's going to be a big deal or not. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some YouTube guys that go to all the rallies and they show all the female participants, if you will, right? Yeah. And that's great. We're dudes. And it works for them. It works 100%. But are you okay with that or not? Like, you know what I mean? So it just depends. And there's just dudes that all they do is race and then talk smack about racing. And if that's what you want to do, cool. But I don't personally agree with that. But I mean, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? So it's just whatever image you're comfortable putting out with. And of course, what you do for work, right?
Yeah.
Your employer, what are they going to think of you kind of doing this or going to doing that? You know, you also have to be conscious. Unless you have like your own shop or, you know, whatever. But even then, you have an image,
when you have your
right?
own shop, you have, I mean, it's the same. Like you go make an ass yourself on YouTube, that could be your business and your brand going down the shitter. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, that, you know, there's so many different ways that people do YouTube, and you know, as someone that consumes a lot of it, just because of like my little workstation out there, the way I have it set up, man, I see all the different ways that people do YouTube, and you could tell, like, you can almost tell where everybody's at in their journey. And I say that not as like an expert. I say that as someone just consuming a lot of the content.
You want some more?
No, I'm good right now. I still got some.
Yeah.
And I feel like because I put it like this, I consume more camera related content on YouTube than anything else. So like, I think one of the things we were kind of talking about in Sturgis was like, how do you want your channel? How do you want it to feel when people watch it? Right. Do you want it to feel? I think like the average, or what most people do is they try to pick music that resonates with the audience. They think that what they think the audience wants. Right. And I've just, the artist or the autistic side of me, I guess you'd say, I don't want
detailed side.
I don't want anything that I put out to be about something that, like, maybe they'll like this more, because we can all play the game of like what they're gonna like, but I want to show them like me,
exactly,
my world and how we are.
Yeah, and I mean,
if it never gets big, then that's fine. That's what art's about. Art's about creating something that you're passionate about, and then once it's out there, you have no control over how the world accepts it or doesn't.
Right.
But it's you, like, just staying true to yourself, basically.
Yeah, no, 100%. I echo that sentiment because, again, for somebody that's not from a creative background, not like, you know what I'm saying, anything like that. Yeah, I'm okay for now.
Okay.
That's not from a creative background. It's kind of like, dude, like, you know, what do you want to put out there at the end of the day? You know, do you want to put stuff out that's going with the trends? Because we can all follow the trends. You know what I'm saying? Or do you want to put stuff out there that's just real, that's raw, that's you, bro? You know what I'm saying?
So one of the differences between me and, or not me, but just one of the things as a viewer is that when I watch some of the people that do camera stuff that I'm interested in, and a lot of them are like people, mainly it's film photography. Even though I do fuck with film here and there, I'm not like a film nerd. Like, I'll shoot digital way more. But the people that make film photography content, I can watch, and it's just me. I don't think that everybody's going to be this way. I can watch every minute of it. I can just let it play and just run it. When I watch some YouTube, sometimes when I watch motorcycle-related YouTubes, I find myself fast-forwarding it a lot. And I'm like, why do I do that? Like, why am I so... Is it because maybe I'm so immersed in motorcycles that, like, you know what I mean?
I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Okay, yeah.
Probably not all of it, but something, because you're familiar with the platform.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. So I wonder, like, I try to think about that myself. I'm like, well, how do I get, what do I have to offer that's different? And I think that what you're offering that I enjoy is, being immersed in performance baggers for quite a while now. It's like, it was a fresh take to look at what you're doing and showing people on the fully decked out built bikes, and kind of pulling back the curtain on like even some of my opinions that weren't formed because I've done it personally, but because I've been around it and seen, kind of absorbed other people's experiences. So it was nice to see, like, your YouTube where you're putting out like what I'm doing on here. Like, it's something unique that you brought to the table about your channel. You know what I mean? That I thought was cool. Yeah.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. And it came from a good place. It came from a good place. It came from just, like I said, first and foremost, I'm a family man, and I'm proud of that. And in this life, previously we had other conversations, but yeah, I just wanted to, like I said, just show that. And I really appreciate it. I've always followed your channel and everything, and supported it. But yeah, it didn't start like that. But I guess it's kind of what we're going. It's just showing raw you, and it just so happened that that's how it developed for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how it went, And
do you feel like when you become more the raw, like maybe not raw in like the drunk raw, but like just the honest, open, like, I'm not good at this, I'm trying to learn. Like,
I think that's the money right there.
I think it is too. I think that it reveals more, but it sucks because I think a lot of people want everybody to be that way. And sometimes like I have to be, like I know how to do this.
Yeah. Well, maybe you know what you know, bro. Yeah.
It's like, but I never want to be a channel that's like teaching people how to paint. Like I don't want to do that. Yeah.
No, for sure. But I mean, I think like with the CVO build, when it was barely starting off, man, I went on there and I said, hey, in this channel, we're going to continue to push the envelope. I'm a regular dude, stuff like that. And I'm going to race it. And like I told you, I have no problem being honest and saying I've raced Traveling Tall. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah. I raced Traveling Tall on his thing one time in Knoxville, Tennessee. And that was the first track I've ever been on. And the third time for me on that track, but the same day. And I had ridden the motorcycle 1,000 miles before. But I got there and we raced and he beat me, right? But I mean, time-wise, my first run I did on my own, it was faster than his time. He beat me fair and square, but I also wasn't pushing the bike because I have 1,000 miles to get back over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just in fun is what I'm trying to get at. But what I'm trying to get at is like, I'm okay. Like I said in the video, I was like, hey, I'm telling you now, I'm going to race, but I'm going to share my journey in this. It might not be for me. I might lose. I might have the baddest, fastest road guys around that are the slowest in the track. And that's okay, bro, because that's me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But obviously I want to get some W's, but just showing the route, because I'm sure there's other people who want to go out there and not necessarily do it every weekend or whatever, but just be like, hey, I think I can try it. You know what I'm saying? And it's all comes down to exposure, right? Me personally, I've been on an actual racetrack one time, and that was in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's it. My second time and moving on will probably be here. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I mean, here in over in Houston, and here in I think NSC, there's a quarter mile.
Like it's 3 miles from here, 4 miles.
So I'll be bringing the bikes over here for the quarter mile because I think that turbo on the quarter mile.
Yeah, it'll open.
Oh, dude, I think it's gonna be tough to be that one. But again, I don't know, and I'm not talking smack. All right, and that's just not my style to talk.
Yeah, 8th mile is always like whole shot stuff.
Yeah, it's like, So the Knoxville one was 8th mile too, but I think that turbo, whatever. Now the CVO, I think in the 8th mile is probably where it's at as well. Maybe on the 8th mile, quarter mile too. But the thing is that turbo, bro, that boost kicks in, it just doesn't stop, bro. It just it goes. So, but again, I'm gonna show my journey on putting the clutch and stuff, and if people get stuff off of that, cool. I want to put the cameras in. I will say though this. Can I always start talking now that I have more experience with the cameras and the angles and this and these, the voice and everything. I am going to have some awesome footage of me winning, losing, or messing up, or all of the above, all in one day. And that's what I want to bring to people. That's really what I want to bring to people. I want to bring the full experience, and not just that, but also on my rides, because this year, if I do a 1K, it's because people are asking me to for as a group again. If I do, it'll be in April. That's like a good weather month, and I might do like a tri-state between here, Louisiana and stuff, or I don't know, or Oklahoma, something like that. But I might do that as well. But I want to do more like ride and maybe camp once or twice, not in the same spot, but ride, but just take in the scenery. And not necessarily show what's out there, but show that you can do it on another performance bagger that's reliable and go and hang out to where it's almost, what am I trying to say? It's almost like you're desensitized to all of this for performance SNS stuff or bagger stuff or hot rods, But that's kind of where we're going to go. And I think that's kind of like what I'm getting from you, right? You kind of just want to ride, hang out, take it easy, take some pictures, some footage, right? And
I want to like share kind of like, what I fell in love with more is like the experience of being on the road rather than it's cool to do it on a cool bike. Like that, I never want to change that. But, riding a performance bagger since 2017, I'm just not, it's too easy to travel on that now. Like I want to do it on the FXR with no bags, with a sissy bar.
What an FXR? Let me tell you, dude, that bad was bad.
But it's like I want to experience the road. I've always said this. Like I want to travel the country on almost every type of bike because each bike is a different vibe, even if you're doing the same roads.
Yeah,
like you can probably attest. Like you said it earlier, you've ridden that I-10 to El Paso so much now, like you're dreading it. Well, you change the bike, it changes the vibe.
Of course.
You do little deviations here and there. It's like, so I'm just kind of like at a point where, nothing is really that inspiring me on that platform right now. Not that I don't love them and think they're badass.
You've had your thrill for now.
Yeah. I'm kind of like it's,
and that's perfectly normal.
It's kind of grown to the point where, like I said, with the new Harleys that are coming out, like who knows what that's going to look like. I don't know. I don't hate them, but I'm not in love with them either.
So can I ask you, like, honestly, what is your, and I'll share my opinion as well. What is your opinion on the new CVO, say Road Glide? Because I'm more of a Road Glide person.
Yeah, man. There's if you're looking at it real, like not the whole picture, there's certain things I love about it.
Well, that's what I'm asking, like from your perspective.
Yeah. As a whole, looking at it, like I really, really tried to like the fairing, and I'm not in love with certain angles of it. Like there's when in 2019 when Harley dropped the side fairings that came on the CVOs, that is such a simple addition that kind of like brought me back to my sport bike days.
Right?
Oh
yeah.
And so I love the way those bikes look with those side fairings.
Yeah.
And then the new Road Glide comes out, and I love all the technology. Like I love the head, I love everything, but there's some things that are off to me. And maybe it's like, with anything, I gotta like stare at it for hours. And I just haven't found it yet. And I don't know. When I saw those lowers on the CVOs, I was hooked. No questions. And this one right here, like I'm trying to convince myself, and I'm like, I shouldn't have to convince myself.
No, you shouldn't. Not for that money.
And I know I'll end up liking it eventually, but it's kind of like, it's like when a new car comes out, the new Tahoe, and you're like, I don't know if I like this. And then of course, after you see them, it grows on you. Like, I don't want some shit that grows on me. I want some shit that I'm like, that's it. Yeah.
No, like, so I'm all about new stuff. I don't want to say new, like new vehicles and new stuff like that, but I'm all about a new design, right? Yeah. New ideas, new products. Like, the ultra cool. Like, I think everybody should have an ultra cool. I got one on the turbo and one over there. So thanks for sponsoring me, guys. But that's one thing. I like the idea of it, right? And the CVO, the Road Glide. I got some friends of mine that have them, and they like them, and I think they're, I think they're nice. I mean, they're a Road Glide. You're on twos anyway, so no matter what you have. But in terms of the design, I feel it's kind of growing on me, and the lighting of that fairing, I think has a potential for a lot of good designs, a lot of good aftermarket.
Aftermarket's coming into that.
Well, the thing is, like a picture you have here with the Baja lights, right? Like that's. You have to have a specific light bar for that, a specific something like that. I really like the custom dynamic stuff. I like the Baja design stuff. I like the admin black stuff, and the Rick Rest. I mean, I got them all, but I think because it's all about the aftermarket at this point, right? So what aftermarket product can you bring like just for the front? Well, there's be lighting, but I think it's going to be limited, right? I don't know. Maybe there's some shit we don't know about new technology, but I think it's going to be limited. In terms, kind of focusing on the performance potential. I mean, I'm sure it's there.
Oh yeah.
But you can't. CCs are CCs, CIs are CIs, right? So whether it comes with a 121 and then you later upgrade it to a 131, it's going to be now a 131. You know what I'm saying, or a whatever you want to do it, right? A 143. So. It's new technology. People have to adapt. Thundermax and Dynojet for their tuning, abilities with those bikes. But I think that I think they're good. The biggest problem I think I have with that line in terms of the CVOs, and I think Harley in general, but I think with that, I think just the pricing of them, and I think the MSRP is pretty decent. The problem I have was these dealerships that just charge way too much money aftermarket. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of the looks, I mean, I think it looks nice. Like I said, it'll grow on me, but I'm not sold on it. You know what I'm saying? But I think for me, it's more like as soon as I buy something, even like with the vehicles, it's like, how can I make it better? How can I make it me? Yeah. And this is not there, and I think that's not attractive for me at the moment.
So what I'm saying? It's still early to tell how this is going to play out, but I think that they, for lack of a better term, they fucked themselves by making that the CVO and not just a new model. Because everything they added is what they should have added to just a normal special to keep up with the Indian.
Well, that special is going to be that in a couple years. That's usually kind of how it
From what I'm hearing and seeing,
you wouldn't know. You got some insight.
It's only gonna. It's not gonna be the VVT motor.
Okay.
From what I heard.
But the design
will be there, but no brakes, no inverted front end. It'll be basically a conventional road glide with everything else normal, just like some styling differences on the fairings and stuff like that.
Yeah, but honestly, most people change out the suspension anyways.
And that's fine. But it's the argument of, okay, well, trust me, I'm not an Indian fan, and I'm not on their side. I'm saying this as a
competing people, right?
Like it's more of a criticism. Like, hey, if they can buy an Indian off the block that has more to offer for a cheaper price of almost a bike difference price point, like, come on, man, like you're really making it hard for me to be the champion, to go champion the Harley thing. Yeah. And then if you are going to put out another bike, don't get me wrong, like all of us would love to just have 131s out the gate, but I don't know, man. Like I just feel like there's some things that are not hitting the mark. And I mean, okay, you have a 121 that's putting out good numbers from what I'm hearing with the VVT. Do you come out with a lesser version of that? Because what are you going to do if you come out with anything that bike has for the price point that it needs to be at, which is that $30,000 mark? You know what I mean? It's going to piss off all those CVO customers that just spent $50,000 or $60,000. Yeah, 50,000.
Well, the markup I've heard 61. So
yeah, you go to certain parts of it depends. If you're getting the orange one, you're probably going to pay a little more, but those silver ones were running around so much. Like I'm guarantee you, they're just
Shoot, Barnett had and I didn't know this, but Barnett doesn't charge markup. They'll charge your MSRP, but they had the label on there. That CVO and that gray one, I put it on my video. I couldn't believe it. It was 45.
Yeah, I think
plus textile.
It was supposed to be 47. I think is what that was supposed to start at.
Shit, it was 45 on the sticker price, and that's with their transportation. I was like, I mean, that's doable for a CVO. Yeah. I mean, but 61? Come on, brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but yeah, man. Hey, how's your edit? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just to chime in on that, it's like I said, there's nothing. Man, I don't make that kind of money, man. I can't swing a CVO.
Yeah.
Even if I do,
$1,000 payment.
Yeah, it's like I just can't justify it, man. And then it's like to what we've been talking about, this traveling. And this is kind of the other thing that's kind of like bumming me out about the baggers. It's like you end up putting so much money into these things.
That's true.
And my last bagger, the one behind you, or the one that was down there on the wall, that bike had almost 60,000 miles on it, on the frame. Now the motor motor only had 17 or 18,000 miles, right around there, maybe, or 15 somewhere. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was because I put the motor in at 40,000 miles on the money.
Okay.
And then I sold it with 55.
Okay. So
15,000 miles. I sold that bike and got more than I was able to get for mine, which has way less miles. But the thing is that a lot of people that start getting in that $50,000 range for a motorcycle, and most of the buying power are people that are probably not going to put miles on it the way we do.
Yeah.
But the miles are going to be why they don't want to spend that much money on it. Yeah. Right. And so it's like, well, fuck, man. Like, I don't want to trap myself into what I'm going to do to this bike and how much I'm going to ride it, because I have so much money invested in it that I need to make sure that I can still get something out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
so you got a new CVO, you're $55,000 in the hole, right? Just ballparking, and you haven't touched anything, and then so you're this much in the hole, and you go on 2 trips. You go to Sturgis and back once. That's 4,000 miles. You go to Born Free, California and back. That's another 4. Bam. Yeah. In 1 year, you have 10,000 miles on the bike.
Yeah.
You can't get $30,000 for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The devaluation of it is not the best, but yeah, I mean, it's all about timing. Like the CVO I got, I've always wanted it for years, bro, but it was just too expensive. Even now, that same one, it still goes for $40,000.
Yeah.
Like with the stock 117 with 20-some thousand miles in DC over there in the area. I mean, like I said, I found it with the 131, and the 131 had been on there for about 8,000 miles. So I was like, okay, and they were asking 33. Yeah. So I was like, I called them. So you still have it? Like, yeah, I'm looking in front. Here's my deposit. Okay, now talk to me. What's wrong? No, nothing. This and this and that. I was like, all right, I'll be there in 2 days. Bought my plane ticket, had the cash or the check, and then went out there. I saw it, boom, boom, boom. And again, I was out of my comfort zone, and it was cold as I don't know what. But I looked at it, went the best, trusted myself. At this time, I did take tools in my bag, backpack over there, and it worked out. It worked out great.
Yeah.
So I got it. But then it came with factory 47 bars, so I'm selling them if anybody wants them. And it's just not it's not me.
Yeah.
Right. It's not me. Not I like the looks, but ergonomically,
Yeah.
when you turn, I'm more used to shoulder width kind of area. Stuff. So the risers that I got on the CVO now, the Vidi design whole kit, I mean it's nice with the OD bar and everything, but yeah, people ask me why people get T-bars, because I was asking the same thing, or the risers, and I was like, now that I have them, I describe it as, you have a new truck and it turns fine, but then you have like a Corvette and it turns, but it's less to turn it or get in the next lane. Yeah. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, if you can only just scroll back to 2018 when I was trying to champion T-bars and how much hate we used to get, and people they wanted us to accept their performance bagger with their 20-inch apes and their get back whip because they had a cam in their bike. And now for good reason, or now enough people have ridden T-bars, they get it, they understand wow, it fits to have a bike that style, you know what I mean, or this type of riding is this type of handlebar situation. But man, it was
what's here.
Yeah,
I was talking to Jeff Holt over in Sturgis, and we're like, hey man, these performance baggers, and it's the first time I met him. Really nice guy. I mean, just I don't know, he was just really stand-up guy. I was like, hey man, how you doing? He had seen the bike or whatever already, I guess on the socials, and so we started chit-chatting, and short story, he's like, yeah, I've been making these performance bagger shows for decades. And I was like, yeah, but it's catching now, you know what I mean? So the next phase is going to be big wheel performance baggers. I'm just kidding.
It's been like that.
I'm just kidding.
There's guys out there that are I think Jerry Covington said once, because I like the idea of luxury performance baggers.
Yeah.
It's like you have for their I'm past that point in my life where I feel like I need to chime in on what everybody else is doing with their bike. It's whatever you're doing is cool. You know what I mean?
100%.
But and realistically, it's kind of like my buddy Kyle said it, and I love it. Kyle from Forever Rad, he goes, just don't ask me my opinion on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You'll get it.
Yeah. And but really, if no one's asking my opinion, I'm not going to put it out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously I got to do some form of opinion to have a podcast, because if there was no opinions, if I wasn't willing to put myself out there and be a jackass here and there, we wouldn't have any content. You know?
I mean, and it's so fluid, bro. Like, it's like food, right? Sometimes you like to eat this, you want to eat pizza all day, and then the next day you're like, man, I just want to have some Italian stuff or some tacos or something. It's just your taste buds change, and so do your tasting persptive, and that's what's so fluid. And everybody's going through that at the same time. You know?
And I think that the Harley, like Harley and itself, they dictate some people's involvement of what they want to be a part of. Like, when I bought my first bagger that I did a performance route, I mean, it was a $22,000 bike, not CVO, special in 2017.
That's money, bro.
That's then 2 years later, it's like, it went from a 107 to a 114, and it was blacked out, but now it's $28,000.
Yeah.
And now you're roughly walking out the door for $30,000+ for this bike. And that's a tough swallow. And then my first Road Glide I ever bought was 19, and that was they used to do, they had a standard and a Road Glide custom is what it was back in 2012. And so it's like, it's just constantly going up. But, the things that the ST, that I've never been asked so much about a bike in my life. And I think that for the last 7 years, everybody's been doing Road Glides to the point where when the ST came out, it was like a price point, but they wanted to see if it could check some of the boxes that the Road Glide has checked, right?
Yeah.
Can I still travel? It's got space. They wanted something new to spend their money on, instead of how many versions of a performance Road Glide can you do?
Yeah.
Before you kind of get bored with it. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just a little bored with it.
Yeah, no, I mean.
So it's not me talking shit like this isn't cool anymore. No, it's definitely cool. It's just that, how many fucking more do I.
You're there. Yeah.
I know exactly the parts I want, and it's hard to deviate from that because they work for me and what I ride.
Yeah.
So there's no There's no new.
It's like the helmets we were talking about.
Yeah.
You know that product, so why are you going to change it? Yeah, man. I mean, I'm kind of there to a certain extent, not to with your repertoire of experience, right? But with the two, but I feel like I dove in, right? Because I wanted to, right? And I was going to do that anyway, so I figured might as well share it. And if people care to watch it, they can watch it. But it's like if you ask me, hey, crew, you buy another Road Glide, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly. I'm going to do this, and this, and this, and that, because I'm familiar with the platform that I like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want all of the reliability, all of the horsepower and torque, and I want pump gas.
Yeah.
And I got the little combo. And there's different combos for it, but that's what I want. And I'll tell you, I want this, and this, and that. Shit,
so how do you go back to getting the excitement that it was figuring out the combo?
Ooh, that's a good one, brother. That's a question of experience. Well, I think again, there's several points, but I think part of it is the industry, the innovation that these companies are bringing, right? Yeah. I think that dictates S&S roller rocker arms. They're rocker arms.
Yeah.
But they say, let's put a wheel and make it all good, and it's going to be faster, and it's going to be a bit more reliable and better. People bought it, and it works.
Yeah.
Ultra cool. Ultra's been around for a while, but in terms of the platform, it's getting a lot of traction. It's an extension to your oil cooler and cooling system, right? I put it on, and the bike runs great. It runs good. The Motor Witch jugs that I got from Danny, they run cool as hell, bro.
Yeah.
That bike, I rode it. We went on a little bike ride, and it was about 40-some degrees. And you know when it's cold, you kind of hug the bike to get a little warm? Ain't happening with those jugs. It's not happening. And I'm pushing right now 167 and 160 torque on that one. But that's kind of like on the medium side because the air filter we got from Alloy Art is too big, and the exhaust, the Bassani exhaust, is good, but at this point is actually too restrictive.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to change those out to another product and retune it, and we should be maybe about 15 more after that. Reliable pump gas.
No, that's good.
You know, but again, it's just just circle back to your question. It's just I think we're really dependent on the ideas and creativity of other companies.
Yeah.
HPI, their throttle bodies. You could put it in a case. It's so pretty. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty. So I think it's just the innovation of the industry that we're kind of left to kind of work
I think that's probably maybe some of my, I wouldn't say quarrels, if you will, but maybe some of my like when the Softail came out, right? It took a year for the industry to create something to help like make the platform cool, because when it came out, it just looked like a traditional Softail. Yeah, it was just different, right? But
you needed a front fairing or something.
Well, there's just certain things that were just like they were kind of filling the world out. I mean, great bike. It's always been a great bike, but until the parts, the aftermarket came in to save it, basically. Yeah. And right now, I'm thinking that's what needs to happen with the CVO. But I guess what I was having a conversation with someone about this, and I understand where they're coming from, because let's say the CVOs dropped right before Sturgis, and every brand picked one up, and they figured out what they already had and threw it on there to take it to Sturgis. I get it. But what I wanted to see is somebody that bought it, and then it's got stripped down, and then for the last 6 months it's been in R&D, and come January, February, new products, new styles, new shit's coming to market to make this bike feel like, oh shit, there's a new thing out. It's not just the new version of the thing that's already existed. Yeah. So,
no, that's for sure. That's for sure.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like when the performance bagger thing started getting big, it took a while for brands to start making cool parts. And I think now there's more options than ever for good, like really good looking, bar and riser setups. Like the parts have come a long way from just the old school West Coast T-bars and, your hard case risers and, fly moto bars. Like we've got a lot of options now so that these bikes can have a little bit more individuality. But a lot of that's come from outside like the performance sphere.
Yeah, it has.
Vidis was never a performance bike guy. He used to make big wheel shit for our industry back in the day.
Sure, he started making swing arms now, I think. Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, it's just I think it just depends in the industry, and I think also the level of consumers, right? For example, during the pandemic, right? you couldn't get a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Actually, that's around the time frame I bought my road glide, right? More towards the end, but you couldn't get a motorcycle. Now, you go to any dealership, at least in Houston that I've been to, they got inventory. You can get a lowrider ST. Now they got 4 or 5 in different colors.
Yeah.
With the white and the black, and they might have a 22 left over or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now that you got CVOs in stock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so with that being said, the people that already had the motorcycles and stuff are going to have them. But then, like, if I had to break it down, right, I think like the overall on the Harley side of or cruising side, I should say, touring, I would say, and just in Harley, you have I don't know, and correct me, provide your input. I would say that maybe like 60-70% is your average consumer.
Yeah.
The guy that rides and camp kit, this and that, maybe, and they're fine. And then on the weekends, perfectly fine. I used to be that guy, perfectly fine. And then you have like maybe the big wheel people, and then you have like the other maybe just a straight up old school touring that never just bought one, kept it, and whatever. And then you have like
you got all your
performance
niches,
baggers, right? So on the performance bagger stuff scene, I would say, I don't know, 5%, 10%, if that.
Yeah.
I mean, would that be accurate?
Yeah, I would say that. I would probably say it's 80% just everyday people that are going to buy a bike and maybe put a get back whip on it and some Kiriakin parts, and they're going to send it, right? That's
trade it in for the next newest model.
Yeah.
Kinda.
And that's fine. Those guys are actually doing more for the industry than we are because they're keeping the bikes running around.
Yeah.
But it's just custom motorcycles help sell the lifestyle, right? Mm-hmm. And whatever that is for you, I mean that it's subjective to the viewer. That lifestyle could be like, I want to feel that cool. I want to be as cool as that looks, or that looks like a fun place to put some time and energy to see if that fulfills me, right? There's all different ways. Yeah, it's not just, but cool custom things is always. I mean, custom has always been around. I mean, whether it was hot rods or choppers or whatever.
So my one of my brothers years ago, the Lowrider magazine back in the day, right? So you had the Lowrider Car of the Year, you Lowrider Truck of the Year, and stuff like that. Well, my brother had the Lowrider Truck of the Year, like the big bad one, right? 3 years in a row for Lowrider magazine, right? And it was called Wild Thing 2000. And it was very like, I remember sending the frame down, over in Austin. That's where he lives. And he wanted so I bring that up because, again, it's innovation on the industry, right? And your creativity, right? Because like at that time, Kenwood's Sound System started sponsoring him, and that's when they first came with those speakers that are like 12-inch, but they had the huge bang at 1,000 watts and the coil and all this crap. And Dane Spoke Wire Wheels sponsored him with the big old gold stuff, and he had like an LS1 in there back in the day, and it was all gold plated, like just insane, right? But again, like you said, that custom bikes, custom cars, custom trucks, it's just a custom industry. That's a very small percentages. And in terms of the innovation, because I feel like I had this kind of conversation with him years ago when I was a kid. And I think it kind of came down to like, hey, when you're at that level with that platform, it's kind of like, it's just the these new products that come out that are, how can this company make your stuff better? How can you apply it and then merge it? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of this, same thing with these, to answer your question, it's just what's out there. You know what I mean? When you, like what new bracket can you get? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but yeah, man.
Yeah, it's tough. I think that, I definitely subscribe to that idea that, we're kind of beholden to what the industry creates. I think that's why, like, maybe, the FXR chop was such a reinvigorated build because it wasn't about what was available. It was about what could be created. And so that challenged me in a different way than, what I could afford or whatever. And I don't mean to say any of that as like a better than or whatever. It's just it's just a different experience. But I know it's not an experience for everybody.
Yeah, but see, that's what I was going to say. You're coming from a builder, from a painter. Motor work, or what you have, like your sauce that you like. You know what I'm saying? So for you, it's like this, but for the average person watching, your stuff on YouTube or on Instagram, they're like, "Holy shit, that's badass, bro!" Like, It's like mind blown, So, there's a reason why these people go to Born Free or Lone Star to see your bikes or these other bikes or whoever bikes they want to see. Because they want to see it in person. Like, wow, I want to take a picture of it. They don't even need to take a picture with it, just a picture of it. Because for them, it's like that kid that now can wipe his butt after potty training. He's like, I got my independence. Or the kid that gets his first bicycle. Oh, I got independence now. I can ride to the store and back. So you come from like an all out experience kind of and everybody, you guys like in industry, right? To have your shops and know what you do, and then you have like all of that 90%, 80% that come and are like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, a lot of them like me, they're too shy to say, hey, what's up? I like your build. And then you kind of don't hear about it. You know what I'm saying? But they're watching, bro. I mean, keep doing what you guys are doing, man, for sure.
Well, I don't know. I think that the reason I bring it up is not because I want validation for my decisions. It's more of it's more of sharing what's exciting me as a guy that rides motorcycles and tinkers on them, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
As a way of saying like, look, like this is what's like getting my gears going right now, and this is why I think. And so when I bring these things up, it's literally only to try to reflect on the like the feelings that I get from doing these things, versus I'm not trying to downplay anything that anybody else does, and whatever that fulfills their fills their cup up. Like I'm happy, I'm stoked. I'm just saying, like, for me, I wanted to travel this year on the ST. I wanted to see what that was like, and at first I hated it, and I grew to like it. And now I'm at a point where, okay, well, I owe way less on that bike than I would if I had a Road Glide right now, right?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
to me, I'm kind of okay with the money that I owe on the bike and riding that bike into the ground. 100,000 miles, like I don't care. Like I'm fine with keeping that bike.
Yeah,
it's not like something where I have $40,000+ invested in it to where I'm like, well, shit, man, at some point I need to get my money, or at least something back out of this.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in a different boat there where I'm like, okay, well, with this deal with this Road Glide, if all this goes out the way I need it to go, then I'm excited to be able to keep my ST, and I'll probably end up selling the paint job off of it and going deeper into customizing that bike to travel on it more. But right now it's like nothing. Like I'm literally like, what's exciting me about the FXR. And let me bring this up to you and see what you think. I wanted to ask you this when you were talking about doing the rides and the trips. What's your vacation time like? I mean, are you like someone that has enough to be able to go enjoy things, or are you kind of like?
Yeah, I mean, like to get away. Yeah, I can get away within reason. I say that because we got a year, a little bit over a year and a half year old at the house, that's running the shop. So, and I got a super loving, supporting wife that also works, but supports me as well. So yeah, I mean, I can get away. Like for example, Sturgis. When we were talking up there, I was gone 8 days, 9 days or so. So, but I definitely can't do like a month away. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I would love to. Anybody would love to. But yeah, I mean, but. That like in one shot, but I can get away. I could definitely get away.
I think that's where I'm at now. Like that's what's really, getting my gears going is going out for like long experience. Yeah. And like this thing I'm planning on doing over the summer. Originally, I was planning like what I was kind of putting on the table for myself was kind of going to be possibly 3 months on the road. But that's
a quarter of a year, brother.
Yeah. And I kind of like dialed that back to where it's probably going to be like 6 weeks. And so
that's still substantial, bro.
Because we've done like 29 days before, but the things I wanted, being here in Texas, it's hard to do a coast to coast.
Because we're in the middle. So, I'm planning on doing the East Coast FXR Jam and then riding to Born Free, which is on the West Coast. Right. And then going up to the West Coast FXR Jam, which is in like the Tahoe area. So I was saving this, but this is something, and I've told some of my guys back home. But I was thinking on doing a trip to Mexico, but not like Born Free area, San Diego, TJ, or anything like that. I was thinking like Monterey, stuff like that. There's obviously a risk factor, but it kind of makes it exciting. You know what I mean?
If you can speak Spanish, I'd feel way better about going.
And I do, and I'm 100% fluent in Spanish and all that good stuff. So I want to go down there, and if like in an all included kind of situation, I wouldn't mind going down maybe to Monterey, hanging out, this and that. And Monterey is a good time, bro. You just, like anywhere else, you gotta be careful. But if you don't want to go that deep, maybe go into like, we'll go down towards like, where's SpaceX? Like McAllen area, Brownsville or Laredo, whatever. Turn back around and go straight up to, within reason, up to Canada. I don't know. I think 35 takes us way up there, right? I think it's Detroit.
35 will take you. No, 35 will take you to Duluth.
Duluth, okay.
Then you still got to go a little further north to catch Canada.
Yeah, but I guess we could.
It's pretty though. It's worth it. I just did it.
Did you? Okay, but maybe there, maybe go over to Detroit and go up to do stuff. I think it's the rain. No, that's Buffalo. But anyways, but you see what I'm saying, and kind of do that, hang out, and then hang out in Canada for a little bit, and then come back. Now that's a ride. So that's a trip. That's I'd a three country, but I don't know.
Yeah, Canada's like if you've ever had a DWI, can't get in, all that shit. So. Yeah. I think what me and my group were planning on doing is El Diablo next year. Not next year, but 25 because they do it every 2 years.
El Diablo, is that the one that they just
San
had?
Felipe in May.
Yeah.
So what we would probably do is leave the camp out, and then the camp out would start the trip.
Oh, okay.
Going
in 25.
Yeah. Going towards
because what part of Mexico does that go into?
It's basically the Baja, so San Felipe and all that. So
right there in that little bay area, right?
Yeah. So, but we want to like go there and kind of get our feet wet with the big group, and then go all the way down to the bottom of the Baja.
Oh, like Baja. Okay.
Yeah, and then
like Cabo.
Yeah,
Cabo. I mean.
Like do a trip there and then back, and then kind of.
Dude, that's a ride.
Yeah, it's 1,000 miles from the border down.
Yeah, that's a ride.
So that's two. So it's. But I mean, like our trips that we do, I mean, when we went to, Pacific Northwest was actually further than Maine was. And that was
the other thing,
17 days, 18 days.
The other thing about that is just certain areas you have to avoid in certain times. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I'm down for something like that. We just, I'll tag along or something. I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a couple years out. So, fly the wives into Cabo, have a good time, and then come back. That's the only thing, So
that's what I'm doing this year. Is it like with this trip is going to New York? Then my wife would fly out after we do the East Coast Jam, and I'd have a few days with her in New York, and then she's from LA, so then she'll fly to LA and be there while I'm there. So it's like it's not like I'm not. We're not gonna see her or not gonna see each other, but like I don't know. I've always said this, like you have to find ways to challenge yourself the same way that you challenge yourself to do the Iron Butts, the 1500, to find, the sauce for the perfect, high horsepower travel bike that's reliable. Like these are all challenges to you as an individual rider. And for me, I think we're all at different levels of that. Some people might be, hey, I'm trying to get to the point where I can go to the Fast Life camp out or, whatever event's going on. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. Yeah, but at the end of the way, it's just riding, bro. No matter how fast or slow, it's riding. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I saw the one that Adam posted. I don't know where in Mexico that was at that he went to, but that looked like a good time.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, that looked like I think it was in the area, but I was like that's a good time. You know what I mean?
Think that it's just I haven't been out of the country yet, so for me it's all kind of just unknown ignorance on my end.
Yeah. So it's a good time. So get your passport because you'll need it.
Don't have
get your passport.
Someone sent me a money order and the sheet to fill out, and it's in a folder, and I have no idea who did it. And
so put in your passport, request it to get expedited because even the expedited is taking a time. If you don't do it expedited, and I know because we just got it takes like 6 months. So we got it expedited, we got to think about 3 months.
Okay.
So because we got a little man, so we got to get his, so we had to renew ours. So go ahead and do that, and that's it. So, but yeah, I mean, so like going in there into going south into Mexico would be cool, but as a nice thing to get your feet wet is just down the border, have a good time. Because even the border town's a good time. You just got to be careful like anything else. You know what I'm saying? Because even going to Phoenix, you got Tucson. You can go south, and you're an hour, you're in Nogales.
Yeah.
So
I always felt, and this could be just like, once again, my ignorance, but I always felt like I wouldn't want to do it on a flashy bike,
So there is that. There is that. But unfortunately, with all the business going on with the cartels and stuff like that, I just don't see a lot of them knowing how to ride a motorcycle. I could be wrong, but I just don't know. I don't.
I'm more worried about like just the police like trying to
Yeah, so there's definitely extortion goes on.
Yeah.
So that definitely that. But I mean, it's just it's just how the wind blows. So that's the only thing. But again, it's just kind of a little fun factor there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I mean,
let's roll the dice for being in a federal prison because you didn't have enough money to bribe the police.
I know, dude.
But,
I hear they take Zelle. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. But yeah, man, those rides are definitely a good time. You gonna do the Fast Life again over next year?
Yeah. This will be the 7th year going into it, and we're gonna kind of take it back to what it was originally. Like, not that it was. It's kind of a weird taste, right? So when we started it grew just naturally. Like 50 people the first year, 200 the second. It just kind of grew that way, right? Mm-hmm. In the last 2 or 3 years, we've brought in more stage presence, like doing stuff on stage, giveaways, and all that. And to be honest, and T-shirts and selling T-shirts, like all that shit. For me, it's not fun anymore because now I'm sitting here thinking like I got $4,000 wrapped up in T-shirts. I need to get my money back. I got all these brands that we're trying to get them exposure, so we got to do all this stage presence, and I don't get to ride. I didn't even ride a bike there last year. I drove, and I'm kind of over it, man. I want to get back to maybe we'll do a giveaway, like something with Simpson or something like that. That's because Simpson's been going for the last 4 years. Just keep it simple. Keep the presence less.
Yeah, maybe you can have it. You can have it all. You can have it both. You can still have all the stuff you have going to go for rides. Just extend who's hosting whatever instead of you being all the time. Just spread that out.
Well, that's what we've done.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, it's still you're trying the shirt thing's the big thing, right? Because you've got $4,000 tied up in shirts.
Of course.
And
badass shirts. You have an extra one, by the way, that I could buy? Because I don't
have any.
Okay. Because I was gonna go, but I was like, man, they were badass shirts.
Yeah. But I don't even think I'm gonna do shirts next year.
Yeah.
I think that.
It's kind of hard to gauge who's a medium, small, and large, and an extra large, right? And how many they're going to be there.
Yeah,
right?
and you go
it's
more mediums. You get mediums, and everybody that shows up is smalls. One year, it's like we had everybody and their mom was a fucking 4X, and then I get 4Xs, and then I didn't sell but one of them. You know what I mean? And so now I think I might have a 4X if you want one of those.
Okay, I don't know anybody that's a 4X. Well, maybe a couple guys,
but to me, it's just I don't know, man. I want it to be what's cool about it, and the thing that I think that is more important to shine light on is what happens is people who decide to come from all different parts of the country, they end up clicking up and linking up, and just like how you put the ride together and now you have the Dirty Dozen, that's the same thing that happens with everybody else. Right. And so those bonds that are formed through the ride is that's what I want to exploit. That's what's cool about this, and that's what I want people to experience. And then I don't want it to be about, you know what I mean? A lot of every brand that's represented there is there. So it's you want them to have and they're not there selling stuff. They're there on their own dime to party and hang out with everybody. And I like that, but that's what I'm saying. It's just less stage stuff and more, get out and ride and do some stuff and meet more people around the bonfires and, just that. So
yeah, the basics of it, right?
Yeah,
the basics of hanging out and camping and meeting people and talking with like-minded people and leaving a better person.
Well, see, that's what we've always told people is that don't get me wrong, everybody should go to Sturgis, and if Daytona's your jam, cool. But
Froggies.
The thing is that you're never going to go anywhere else other than maybe Born Free, where you're going to have a bigger collection of the people that you actually are trying to meet. So you go to Daytona, everybody is there. You want to meet them, but the day you're at Froggies, they're at Wood down the street, or they're at this or that. It's big rallies. It's hard to connect with people. Yeah, and so this gives people the ability to connect and create those relationships. And it's just to me, it's what I keep telling people, and because they'll hit us up all the time, hey man, I came to Sturgis. Where y'all at? We're at a campground that you can't get in because you're not staying at this campground. They won't let you in because you got to have a wristband to get in to each different campground.
You have to buy it at a certain time.
Yeah. So it's kind of those events are good, but come to the Fast Life. Then with the people that you meet and the friendships, if you don't have a big group already, then you can like plan the trip to Sturgis with those guys, and then now you have like your own kind of like shit.
Yeah, I mean that brings up another point, right? Like for everybody that just got their bike or had it for a while or don't have any riding buddies, just show up and even by yourself. Because I used to go by myself. You just talk to people, hey, what's up, this and that, and people are gonna be cool or they're gonna be dicks. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? And just you pick your poison, man. But I was gonna ask you, man, if we can dip back into the whole like video stuff. Like how do you spend a lot of time on your editing once you get the footage and you have to figure it out? Like you spend, because I like your music you pick on your videos.
Thank you.
So, but I kind of like the Fast Life kind of in purple kind of goes in and out and stuff like a lot of people don't realize, but all that and those cuts, you're cutting and this and that and pasting it and flowing with the music. So
a lot of it's learning the platform. I told myself that this year I wanted to learn editing, and it's never been about putting out a lot of videos. It's just about like putting out videos that like I guess I have what I need to make. So for instance, the most recent video that's like our vlog or whatever you would say is the ride to Durango, but I really didn't capture any footage from Durango throughout Born Free. So I'm not going to make a video about it because I have nothing to tell a story for it, right? Editing wise, like a lot of the editing takes longer now because I'm trying to tell a story with editing that I forgot to tell through dialogue and capturing video. So you have to find these other ways to like maybe bring that drunk, vertical video into it, or the pictures you might have took, or whatever that you can kind of create more context to get it done, And I have like a few little ideas of videos I want to make here pretty soon that are kind of, I guess, easier because it's not like I'm traveling the country. It's just kind of like the next video is probably going to be like a walkthrough of the shop of just talking about all the different stuff. And I know it's kind of probably, whatever, but
people be interested
for, to see the studio and the cameras and put some context behind it, the workspaces I have and why. I mean, if you're a painter, then you're probably going to want to check it out. If you're into photography, you're going to want to check it out. If you work on bikes, like everything is in my shop is where it's at for a reason and a purpose and a place, right? And some other ones I have ideas for, but as you probably know, like it's really hard to capture and tell a story at events. Like Polaroid, the first one we ever did, when, just to be clear, Texas kicked the shit out of fucking Arkansas because we brought 70-something people, and Arkansas showed up with like 12.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's how it usually is.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to continue to be, too.
I plan on going to the next one. I just don't know how it works out. Do you just show up at Shreveport, or how does...
Yeah, you just stay connected. It's all,
I mean, like, because I'll be coming from Houston, right?
Yeah.
So you just go to Shreveport to hang out? Is that pretty much it? Or
Kinda.
Okay.
Unless, like, what we did the first year was we all met up just outside of Shreveport in Texas still. All the guys from Houston rode up and met us. Okay. And then we rode in together, one big-ass group, and we got rained on the entire way.
That's fine.
And then we show up, but we all go eat. There's this really good Mexican spot there that we all ate at, and they do really good for the amount of bikes that show up, like taking care of you.
They're good.
The second year we did it in Oklahoma City, and there was a lot less people.
Okay.
Then last year they went back to Sam's Town again in Shreveport, which I didn't get to go the one last year because I was under some crunches for Daytona paint work.
I see.
But
and then this year or next year?
This year I'll be.
But where's it at? Or
it's in same place. It's at Shreveport.
I plan on attending that one and stuff. Nothing like a challenge in the cold. That's what I'm saying. It's just a challenge, right?
Yeah, the first year it wasn't even cold.
Oh, okay.
Except for the rain part.
The rain sucked, but it was like I said. I think that last year was cold, but I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
So like when you go in there, it's like, okay, well now I'm filming, but all the stuff that I think people want to capture is the stuff that now it's too dark to film. You're in a club, there's music playing, so you can't talk on it because then, you get all the strikes on YouTube.
Well, it's twofold, right? Because like the copyright stuff, right? So you have to music over that or whatever. I'm also very conscious when I do like those videos is of who wants to be in video or not, and they could want to be on the video, but not necessarily when they're fucking hammering down all this stuff and get that image. And I'm very conscious of that, because I would like to, if that was me, I don't want me to be like, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I either blur it out or change the angle to where it's too high.
Yeah.
Or to where you just see heads, but not like the person and stuff like that. So that's one thing. And another thing is just when you look at because you could be writing and you could be filming and you're like, oh, this is the money shot. But you look at it on your screen, you're like, man, I don't know if I want to use that, Like Sturgis, man, I had a lot of footage, and even though it rained a lot, but I had a lot of footage and stuff. But man, I didn't use.
You have like 3 videos that came out from that.
I had 3 videos, 3 videos. What I was trying to do was have like one each day of different stuff and good stuff, because Sturgis has a lot to offer, man. Like from a consumer standpoint, right? That really just kind of hangs out or whatever. You got the bike shows. You got all the adult entertainment. It's like spring break for adults. I told my wife, the day I can ride, I know what we're going to do. We're going to fly into Rapids. We're going to get a place somewhere in Sturgis and just freaking party. Screw the rides. You know what I'm saying? And then be there for the weekend and then fly back.
Yeah.
We're good. So it has a lot to offer. And I just wanted, it's just like anybody. You just always want to show that in a good light. Because that is. Everybody's a good time. Everybody's a good time. Everybody's there. Everybody has good energy. And, people get drunk. They do drunk stuff. But we are adults. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect myself. But I had a lot of footage. I had those 3. I could have had more, but I just wasn't comfortable showing with what was on there because I just didn't know the people. Like the crew we're hanging out with and stuff. Everybody's cool, but if you notice, I didn't put a lot of that stuff that we're not that we're doing anything bad, but we're nobody wants to be with their cameras so we have a good time talking shop or talking smack. So I just didn't. All it was good footage, but I just didn't want to offend anybody. You know what I'm saying?
For me, it's the uncomfortability that some people have, and
exactly.
I'm the same way at times. Yeah. But like, so Sandoval used to do this to me all the time. Like, remember at the end of the campouts, Matt? Like, he'd start walking around with the camera, way before I ever wanted to do any YouTube shit. And he'd be like, "So Jace," he'd like hide it. "So Jace, tell me like what's up?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. Like, we just come here to, it's just, it's kind of weird, but." So from my angle, that's something I can speak on is like, what am I bringing that's not there on YouTube in a sense of like, obviously there's tons of motorcycle content, but what am I doing differently, or what am I bringing that's different than everybody else's to give you a reason to watch the Fast Life channel, not as a competition, like watch mine and nobody else, because that's not how any of this works.
Yeah.
I've had people reach out to me about podcasts like, "Oh, I bet you don't really mess with all those other." I was like, no. I've helped probably almost every major motorcycle podcast that you know of. I've helped them get the right equipment or helped them get the video stuff set up. Like, the more the better, because more people will come into the podcast space and start listening to it. Chances are I might have a chance of getting that audience to come check out mine at one point, right? Yeah. So I want to gain from it, of course. But it's like a rising tide floats all ships, and the same thing with YouTube content. If people all work together and help each other make better videos, then the content gets better and you get better and more people watch the type of content that people make. Yeah. So,
It's the mentality, we can all come up together.
Yeah.
Right. And unfortunately, there's the people that think the opposite.
Yeah. And there's always going to be that. And
you know what I mean? So.
But, I just want to, find ways to do it. I mean, doing like, not to talk bad about anything, because that's not what I'm trying to do here. But me personally, I have a hard time watching videos with just nonstop riding. Yeah, like I said, we're back to what I was saying earlier, where it's not that it's not good. It's just that like I'm a little desensitized to that.
Yeah. Well, I see what I know. I know what you're saying, because there's certain things that, for example, the riding videos, or they're riding and just talking too damn much. No offense to anybody. I've done it myself, but it's, as you evolve in your trade and what you do, it's like not everything has to be like, hey, I'm walking into the store. Hey,
what I really like about yours that I haven't quite figured out how to do, I know how to do it technically, but you do it well, is the voiceover stuff.
Oh yeah. That's something I'm learning. That's something I'm learning, because there's some people that do some epic voiceovers, bro.
When I do it, it sounds like I'm reading a script, because I am.
Oh well, yeah. You have to. So what I do, I acapella it, if you will. You know what I'm saying? What I do is there's no, like I said, I'm learning it, so I can say it like here and stuff. But there's a couple of things I do. One, either I do the voiceover and then edit the video to the voiceover, or the opposite, do the video and then do the voiceover to the video.
So what I would rather do for myself to do it that way is just like have a camera on me and film me talking about the entire thing.
Yeah, that's the easiest way.
And then put all the other footage on top as like, B-roll of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the easiest way to do it. And I did something like that when I did one of my updates for the carbon fiber wheels, because I get so many questions about that.
Yeah.
Right. That's when I had 20,000. Now I got like 34,000 miles on them. But yeah, so that's something that I kind of just started doing because the uncomfortability. We have videos, but sometimes you just want to be in the middle of a crowd. Hey guys, this and that. People are like, whatever, and it's just uncomfortable. Now, unless you're over that, that's fine. But I'm not there.
I'm only there when I'm drunk.
Well, of course, right.
And at that point, it's like it's not anything I want to show the world.
But so like the one for Lone Star, right? I came out in the front. I had the pier behind me. Awesome, this and that. And that was my voiceover, pretty much. That was my voiceover of the initial intro scene. And then I was like, this is because you have different style videos, right? So this video was, music, and I didn't do any voiceover but music, cutting the videos for the music. And then, all those cuts were from different days, but I wanted to show everybody I rode with that, to there or back. So one happened Thursday, one happened Saturday, but then it's like Saturday's over here and then Friday's here and then back and forth. So that's just time consuming. But in terms of the voiceover, that's something that I recently started doing, and maybe the last 2-3 Sturgis, I think Sturgis before that kind of, which that August or so that I started doing it. I like it because it gives you more flexibility in explaining the moment. Right.
Because sometimes in the moment you're talking about something and you're just completely getting it wrong, saying the wrong thing, doing this, and it's like having the voiceover aspect. You can fact check yourself on everything.
And so I never know how I'm gonna do a video. I know the content I want to do, and I have the general 1,000-foot view kind of idea, but I never know how I'm really gonna the video. And this is for each one of them, and I have over 200 now, right?
Yeah.
So like the 1,600-mile one, right? I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. Well, I didn't do any of that. Right?
Filming while trying to do 1,600 miles in a day is that's damn near impossible.
Yeah, but we did it.
Yeah,
but we did it. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? And so normally, like, it's about building a story, right? So it was like, this is a big, and like I mentioned, it's a lifetime accomplishment because I might not ever do that again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And some people might not. So my thing is this, I was like, well, a lot of people start of, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and then kind of drag you. And I was like, in this one, I'm just going to say how many started, we did it, and this is what happened in between. And there you go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I kind of like that style. I've never done this, the only one I've done like that, but I kind of like that style because what happened already, but you don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
So for me, that was like, I don't want to say the hook, but that was like let me check it out. How did this freaking guys do it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're just whatever. And so that's how I did that one. But I recorded a lot of my 360 because I added 360 to the camera squad. Yeah. And so I figured, you know what? I turned down the app through my phone. We're blazing, as you can see in the video, right? And just having a good time. But again, good conditions. It was sunny, or maybe 20-30 miles outside of El Paso. We're just going over 100, and I got the views. So I figured, man, this is a good spot for me to do my voiceover because I recorded for like 20-30 minutes, but it only showed like 4 minutes, I think, or whatever it was. So I was like, that's more than enough time for me to talk. So that's when I was like, hey, I think this is what I'm going to use. And maybe a little edit here to cut here and stuff like that. And yeah, man. So that's how that went. And I'm happy how that turned out. But it's a learning experience. But again, I never know how I'm going to start it or how I'm going to finish it. But it's like when you're doing it, then it's like, okay, maybe I should do a voiceover. Maybe it's better because what I said was crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just to your point, But
well, I kind of do the opposite. I kind of know how I want to show the video, and I'm hoping I can get the shots and get the dialogue I need.
Yeah.
But I did 2 videos this year, or I haven't put them out yet. I recorded 2 trips with the intention of doing a voiceover with all the footage and some things in it that I would talk, right? That was our big trip with the boys. We went around the Great Lakes and then Born Free there and back.
Okay.
And I just like I said, I have start to finish on most of them, except for when I lost a GoPro in Duluth. So I have a lot of content, but I haven't had a chance to go look at all of it and like write down what I want to talk about to make sure that I have some kind of content to back up what I'm talking about. Put out, like to record a video to do this thing I want to do. I'm sitting on a lot of footage. I'm sitting on the second half of the Fast Life Camp Out footage. Damn. I got the entire ride to Sturgis, but that's it. I stopped in Sturgis.
Well, it was raining too, so
what I've kind of realized on this Born Free Texas thing was, like, I want people to get hyped up and inspired to see something. I don't want people to experience. I don't want people to live vicariously 100% through me. I want them to, this ride, this moment. You're not going to be able to ever do this moment because I'm doing it right now and you're watching it in hindsight. But it doesn't mean you can't get out and do one later. I don't want you to know what Born Free is forever, and it's like, oh, well, I've seen enough YouTube videos. This, you know, I want you to go and experience it, right? So, and that's kind of also my excuse for not being able to capture anything and put it out there. But when you're there and there's all these people, like I want to be present, you know, and it's hard.
Be present.
It's hard to be present and be a content creator, you know.
So, so Daytona, right? We did the first time ever, the run from that raceway all the way to Galaxy. The
Space Coast.
Yeah, but the hood run or whatever they call it, right? Or whatever it was. Anyways,
hood ride?
I think so. Man, that was fun. But it was whatever. It was fun. Anyways, I get there, bunch of baggers, a bunch of bikes. And I want to chit chat and talk to everybody, but I just couldn't because I was filming the stuff. Yeah. And then guess what? I got a drone. Let me get the drone. Let me go over here to a good spot where it's not messing with anybody and open it up, this and this and that. Bro, you're doing that with hours. You know what I'm saying? And even when you're not filming, it's like, man, this bike road to be here with whatever. I should have filmed that. Damn. Yeah. Oh man, these chicks over here.
As soon as you decide to put the camera down, it's like you got to film the entire time. Yeah. Because you never know what you're gonna miss.
Yeah. Oh, those girls are washing the bike. Guys will want to see that.
The dude breaks his arm. Like if you didn't get that, you missed it all. Yeah.
I got that on video, but I didn't put it on there because I didn't. Just out of respect for these guys.
Them. They did it.
but because I was right there. So it was like, you had the stage and you had the crowd, right? And I was like right here, and I had the riser or the telescopic little thing there. And I was like, and the old boy went bam, and I was like, oh shit, he's going like this, and I was like, oh fuck, I think he broke his freaking arm. Yeah. And I saw it, but I cut that out because I just again, just to the consideration of these people, like everybody, because these guys.
I'm sure they would love it. I mean,
I can dig it up. That's kind of
like the dude that overshot the ramp jump a long time ago on the FXR. That's not flattering.
Did you see the guy on the wheelie at the Space Coast where they had the wheelie machine bike and he?
Oh yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, I did see that one. So it's like those kind of things are what.
That was all in the same day.
Make the story, and if your job is to go tell the story, it'd be different if like someone like wrecked and they're hurt.
I guess you're right.
But you're arm wrestling and your arm gets broke. Like that's fucking viral content, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess you have a point.
Especially if you're in a group, there's at least 20 other people recording it.
Yeah, that shit's on everybody's story. It's not everybody had a collective decision. We're not gonna post that because we don't want to hurt his feelings.
That's basically
if
why
that was me. That shit would have been on fucking Front Street all day long. But so how long? When you what's your average time like editing a video? Like, what do you have in it from when you sit down to start splicing it together?
It varies, but like these road trips, like Sturgis and stuff, even whatever. Man, I've spent on. I've spent up to a total of 15 hours on a video. More of a lengthy video, like when I went over to Traveling Tall Run to the Hill 3. That was. So I had this.
What's funny about that guy? Not to interrupt you. The day we shot that photo, he was in that parking lot.
No kidding.
Yep, that's where I met him first.
Damn.
You remember him?
Yeah.
Cool guy, man.
Same with the guy that was on the street bike.
The CBR.
Where's that parking lot at?
That is that's Salt Flats. It's like it's in Utah.
Okay.
On the border.
Small world, bro.
Yeah, he was riding a bike with his dad and his uncle. I believe they were going.
Yeah, they all ride. Because we all did the Tail of the Dragon. I mean, it was a big group, so it wasn't like fast or anything, but it was still a good time. But shoot, man, what was I gonna tell you? I was telling you something
about the time.
So I had a decision to make. I was gonna make a day 1, day 2, whatever. But that's my longest and only video that I made that long. It's like an hour, right? But it's all like action packed, right? And that one there took me about with the uploading, and then when I say edit, I'm including the uploading, the downloading from the software, uploading to YouTube, and then doing the tags, and then doing the description, and then trying to figure out the freaking thumbnail, and then trying to figure out the description, and hoping and praying it sticks, right? So that one was probably total about 16 and a half hours total. Yeah. So I break it down in several days. The problem with that is you lose your tracks to a certain extent. You have to watch the whole thing. It's like, okay, this is where I was going with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's a lot of cutting and pasting that you go. So I try to, like in the videos, I try to cut with the beat, whatever music I pick, unless I'm like, background music, because I'm like, I don't know.
Talking or whatever.
Right. So something like that. But something like, but on average, bro, I would say probably 3-4 hours. Mm-hmm. Probably 3-4 hours, because you also take pride in your video with what experience and knowledge you have. You know what I'm saying? So as time goes by, you learn more stuff. Less of a learning curve, more of a fine tuning thing. But yeah, it takes about 3-4 hours and that's like, for example, if I'm in my little garage warehouse back there talking about whatever and sharing my experience with it, those are the easiest ones, because there's very little editing unless like I don't know, I misspoke of something, I'll cut that or whatever, so I still listen to it. Those are the easiest ones. Those take maybe a couple of hours, you know what I'm saying? Now. But in the beginning, I was kidding, like 5-6 hours, because I just didn't know what I was doing.
What program are you using?
Adobe Pro. Adobe Pro. So for Adobe Pro, for the stuff I use Adobe Pro, I use Epidemic Sound, and then I use Take Tones.
What's that?
It's like Epidemic Sound.
Okay.
But
so I use Epidemic Sound too for all my music, and then same Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
I just do the Adobe Suite where I pay $70-something a month, and I have all the programs.
Yeah, same. So. And there's a lot in the tag, bro. There's a lot in the tag with the Adobe Pro program. You can make a whole cinematic thing if you wanted to, but it just knowing it and learning and taking the time.
Yeah, and that's kind of like you got videos where you have like kind of like a lot of dudes would do it for like reels, like a lot of bam bam, like just shit going everywhere. But like I like the idea of telling if I was gonna have a style, it's mellow, it's
chill, relaxing,
more cinematic. If not that I've gotten to that point of having anything cinematic at all, but
your videos have been good, man. I enjoy.
But just it's like, I don't know, man. I'm nowhere near where I envision it yet. So that's the reason why I keep doing it, because I see it here and I'm not able to do it here yet. And until I get that, I'll fucking literally go crazy trying to get to that point. I'm obsessive about things.
The right here. I'm like, man, how can I do a quick little video of being over here? Not like of this, but like a little something. Oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do that. The wife calls, hey, babe, blah, 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 and that. Okay. I go right back to it, blah, 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 and I'm driving. So the 3 hours that it took me to get here, it like flew by, because I'm just thinking on the creativity side of it. How can I do it? But I do it all the time. I'm going to Sturgis. Hey, is this the shot? I'm going to Daytona. Is this a shot? I'm going to the beach in Galveston. Is this a shot? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
I think the one advantage I might have in that, and I haven't implemented it yet, is like being all these places. I used to do this because even before the group I have now, we started traveling together. I had been to a lot of these places on a bike. So a lot of it would be like me showing them the cool way to see this or do this.
Yeah.
Well, it's now I see all these places in my head, and I want to like make it about, you know what I mean? Yeah. I see the shots, I see the thing, but it's hard to be at all these different spots at the right time of day to get the best shit. Plus, it's really hard to like. The last video I put out doing the From Here to Durango was all GoPro, and I absolutely hate, me personally, I hate doing the GoPro stuff because that looks better in these cameras, but that's impractical to do on the road. Like you can't pull that out because the GoPro solves all the problems. It's got the stabilization. It's got a good enough field of view. It's got everything you need.
Yeah, it gets a little wide or narrow, and it just depends on your settings too, because that's the whole thing. I'm not doing some more.
I'll probably take a little bit. Yeah, it's so I mean the GoPro solves a problem, but I want to be able to. I'm never going to be able to do the road trips that I do with my big camera as capturing the footage of riding. It's always just going to be able to capture like what we're doing at the moment, like maybe getting ready to go somewhere or something like that.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's just easier to have. I got the GoPro, I got the media mod, I got the Volta stick, and I can just throw it in my pocket, and it's always bam, hit record. And
Yeah, that's the convenience. So, love and hate relationship with GoPro, and I think that's a lot of people, right? I think that so recently, like I like the GoPro stuff, and I've worked with it, but recently I've shifted more to the 360, and this one I have here
you said you got is it the gimbal?
Yeah, it's the new one, the brand new one. It's my secret weapon for my videos being so clear now. But so I started using this is a stationary one, and it's this gimbal, but the picture quality on it is like really good. So it's a DJI Pocket 3. It's like sold out everywhere. Mm-hmm. So like for example, I 3 times and it goes back to you, right? So I has this thing to where if you like double click on your face, and I don't know if that's your face, it'll kind of stay on you. Or
like active track, yeah.
So as a vlogger, you can keep it somewhere. You can move here and there, and it follows you. So it's like.
What about like audio for that? Like, how would you do that? Just like the.
Funny you should ask. It's wireless, and it comes with it.
It comes with.
Well, this is like creator kit. You get one of them,
yeah.
And you just turn it on, boom, and that's it. No.
So I have that kit, but like its own, like the other kit for it.
Yeah, this is the stuff. So you do that, and so anyway, so recently I started using this one, and you can mess with it if you want. It's like super clear. You know what I'm saying? It's super clear. So I started using that because the problem I have with the GoPro, if you triple click it, it moves it to the other place. Okay. There you go, on its own, and it's always level, whether you're walking like this and that's what I like about it. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to move it, you just with the joystick move it left or right, and you can.
You have the ability to like lock it as far as like where you're.
Yeah, you can lock it. You just have to kind of press little stuff there. But yeah, you can do that. Cool. And then you just flip the screen and you close it, and that's it.
And it does 4K 60. What else does it do? Like 24 and all that.
And slow mo, it goes up to 120 because you have a slow mo option. But the other reason I got this is because in the GoPro, the night footage in the GoPro blows, bro.
Yeah, it does.
This here has money. This here, it shows everything. I mean, it's money, bro.
Battery life, how's that?
It's better than the GoPro, I'll tell you that. Bro. And it comes with a backup on this curator one, and this is his whole other backup thing.
Okay.
And it has this thing where you can still have the carbon fiber, like I think it might be that one. Is that the carbon fiber one?
No, not the.
And then you put it there, and you can. So it's like you have your own little thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's not bad.
And all that. So anyway, so with that being said, I started using this and the 360, which is actually all I use in my Lone Star video, and yeah. So whenever I have like. When I talk about, my review and whatever on the bike or just sharing my information with that, lately I've had this one here, and I like it because the problem I had with the GoPro is like if I'm showing like the Baja lights or whatever, I have to like angle the thing because it doesn't move with this, so I just move the joystick, lock it, and I don't have to move anything else. And if the stand I have it on moves or however it is, it's always going to be stable.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? To the horizontal, horizon.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. But the GoPros are good. But I'm starting to shift from it, and I'm still gonna use them. But if I didn't have any GoPros right now, I would probably go to the DJI Pocket. No, the Action 4. Now S4. I would probably go to that one simply because of the battery life. And the heat sequence of it. So
the thing is, like using that Volta mount from the GoPro, I use one battery the entire day.
No shit.
Because the whole stick is a battery, and it has ability. So like a lot of people would comment on my videos because they'll see that I have like the handlebar mount on my stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like the best to like put it on there and film from that, but if I'm riding, I can like click it off with the mount, and it's almost got the stick on it, and I can film. And if it starts to run the battery dead, I can turn this thing on, and it'll start to charge the battery within it. And
do you have any heating issues? Because my GoPro, when it's just standing still, it just turns off.
I'm never really filming for more than like. Unless I'm talking, it's never more than a couple minutes.
So the thing with me, it was like it's all about portability because of the bike. Yeah. I need to pack it in the bike, and so I would just use a GoPro for everything. And it after like 15 or so minutes, if it would just stable, like not moving, it would turn off because it was overheat. So you lose your train of thought. You're like, oh man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I would go with those. If I could do it again now, but they weren't around like that, years ago. So it is what it is. But so I'm gonna stick with what I have now until they break it or something.
That's super nice.
This I recommend it for you, bro. Like it's $700, $600, the creator box. It just came out maybe not even a month ago. And so I just jumped on it, got on Best Buy, boom, and I picked it up.
Yeah.
Just because I figured if I didn't like it, I would just return it. But man, I love it, bro. I love it. It's very stable. It's very clear. The sound on it is just really convenient for me, and I like it has the option for the stands.
That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll get so on the cameras, I'll have the GoPros on there, but like I said, now the 360s, and I'll still have the GoPro because on the way to Sturgis, I was like, I got my GoPro here, I got my 360 here, and I got my GoPro here. At some point, it's like, bro, what are you doing here? You look like a douchebag here. You know what I mean? But yeah, man.
Yeah, I like I said, it's all about, I guess, what you're trying to capture. I mean, if you're capturing more of the ride, you need all that stuff. I've tried to stay away from the POV stuff for my channel, just for my taste. And I've tried to find angles of shooting, like whether obviously I'm still holding it in ways that kind of show like I've been shooting this way for a couple of years now, but it's just now that I finally put footage out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you're traveling, I want people to feel like they're traveling with me, not they're me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I try to, when you ride next to a guy and you look over and the sun's setting, it's like,
that's the
that
shot.
dude looks good there.
Yeah, you want that.
Yeah. I want people to feel like they're seeing that with me or they're seeing my friend there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why on the road trips that there's a lot of people, I usually try to go to the front on another lane and then slow it down and have it ready because that's the ride.
Yeah.
That's part of the ride. That's, all the rumbling, the rolling thunder, everybody's different music, everybody's different postures and styles and clothing or shoes. I always like the guys that have the red shoes. Like my man, Big Rob from Houston Performance Baggers, he has the really red shoes and it's like, he can rock them.
Wonder where you got that from.
Right there. There you go. Yeah, dude. So
I got it from Justin Page, my machinist. So
yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man. I got his horn deletes recently.
Nice. Yeah,
and I like him.
But yeah, that's that is that is the kind of diversity that's in bikes has always been pretty cool. So
yeah,
where are we at?
2.5.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, this coming up year, I wanted to spend this whole year, which it sucks because I really took photography on a backseat, and I love photography more than I love videoing. But I'm trying to force myself to get past some of my own personal roadblocks I set in front of me to do YouTube videos. And my goal was to put out 10 videos this year, and I'm at 11 now. So
yeah, you're good,
which is good. But I know that next year I want to continue momentum with that. It's like I would tell you that I'm not doing it for the hope of making money through YouTube. And I don't really think it is, but at the same time, it kind of is here and there. Like I'm putting a lot of effort into it, so I want to make some money off of it because there's a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to change. I don't want to go down a road of more of the clickbait stuff. And that's what I was going to bring up to you a while ago. It's like the videos that get picked up by the algorithm, if you will. It's not always a video or a podcast that I feel like is good. It's, you know what I mean? It's just maybe a title. And I hate that is a reason why somebody might, I get it. It's a reason someone would click, but if if you have 8,000 or whatever, how many subscribers, and when you subscribe to something, that's the first stuff that pops up on your YouTube feed when you show up is it's new to you or from your following, right? And I don't know, man. I hate that you're always at the mercy of a clever thumbnail, a clever title, and and the problem is that it takes away the creativity because now everybody's thumbnails look the same. Now everybody's titles play the same game. If I put Sturgis in it, I almost always get clicks.
Yeah, there's certain keywords and stuff that the algorithm picks up. I ain't no expert by any means, but I definitely I agree with you, because I'll flip the script a little bit. You have a good title, good thumbnail, and they talk about how you can save weight or horsepower or increase horsepower or whatever, but they don't talk about it till like the last 2 minutes of like 15, 20 minutes. That to me, it's like, brother. That's why I click. Me personally, obviously it works for people. They have thousands of views or whatever the case may be. But me, it's like, at least kind of start with it or halfway, but don't wait all the way to the end. And I think for me, it's because that's why I clicked on the video to see what's going on. But now you have to fast forward and this and that, and they go back and whatever.
Well, I think that becomes the premise of when people are trying to put out a lot of content, and just instead of like condensing some of these things, it can be one video. If you can have a 15-minute video full of information versus you can take that and make 15 videos with 2 minutes of information across 15 minutes on each video, like, to me, I get it. Like, you're playing the algorithm, you're playing the game, but to me, it's always about making better art and just hoping that you're at the right place, right time, or the world likes it and they dig it. Other than that, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take people on. I remember, some people that I'm friends with that I love to death, and their YouTubes, they would play that clickbait stuff, and like you said, they lead people into a video to just let them down at the end, because it was nothing like they brought it up to be like. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, come on, man, just make fucking videos. If you're not into doing that no more, then don't fucking go. Don't go to that rally and try to exploit something that you think may or may not be right about it. Like, of course that's going to get a lot of attention, especially if you're a woman, a female writer, or of a different ethnicity. You know what I mean? You could always play those kind of cards, and like, then it'd be, you know what I mean? So
it's funny you bring that up, because I agree with you. Like, look, rock. You rock. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Go with your niche. Go with what you know, and elaborate and expand on it and everything like that. But don't use whatever you think is the issue, politically, worldwide, socially, whatever the case is, and play to your play, because you're just trying to get there. And I agree with you. I get it, right? But at the same time, I think it's a matter of integrity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To a certain degree. That's kind of where I come out. Like, I ain't perfect. I'm not going to say I'm the integrity police, right? But we all have a certain level of that, of integrity, discipline, honor, whatever the case, right? And for me, it's like, did you really have to go there, right? Because then it paints you in a certain way. Look, I could easily play that card too, to a certain degree, but why? There's no need to, bro. Like, we're here temporarily, is what I'm trying to say. We're all going to be gone one day, and our kids are going to be left behind us, and hopefully we go before our kids do, right? There is that thing as well. But to kind of play that, it's like, it's outplayed, bro. Like, we're not in. I mean, we're saying a lot in between the lines, so if people are watching this, they can figure it out. But it's like, you want to play it, fine, but play it the whole time. Yeah. If you're going to be a pain in the butt, be a pain the whole time, but don't just be flippy floppy. But that's just, again, a person from all of our personal experiences that we have that mold us into who we are today. But yeah, I agree with you. It's like, was that really necessary? To a certain degree. Yeah, that's the only things that sometimes, I guess, wouldn't say rub me the wrong way, but I just kind of like, man, come on, man. Like, it's clear you didn't have a good angle. And I think I know what one of the videos that you're talking about probably. As well. So, but yeah. But I mean, like I said, I'm not mad at the dude. I'm not mad at anybody that's trying to figure out how to do it. It's, unfortunately, if you look at what's going on Facebook now, like every reel seems to be some chick showing her snatch. I don't know if you've seen that. You seen that trend that's going on?
What, the pause challenge or whatever?
The pause challenge is another one, but these girls will walk by and they'll like flash their cooter real quick. Yeah. And it's like,
we're having in a mirror reflection and stuff.
Or they'll do like those. Like, man,
I must be watching the wrong stuff on Instagram. I'm not watching any of
it. I hate reels. I don't watch any of it. So you just naturally scroll down your deal. It's like it's becoming the majority of the content that's being made on those platforms. Yeah. Did you see the new AdSense stuff with YouTube about like they changed a lot of the ad program stuff?
No, I haven't really.
It was all based out of like sexual content stuff.
Like, because, negatively or positively?
Like, they're trying to find a way to like
cut that out, kind of.
The lines were here, and people blurred the lines.
Oh, okay.
So technically, you don't see it clear enough to say that's a vagina, but that's a fucking vagina, right? My kid just saw that, you know what I mean, or whatever. So the lines are kind of blurred with that stuff. Or the same thing, like if you look on Instagram, where you'll have the thing where the shirt's clearly see through, but it's not blurring anything out.
Yeah, that blows my mind because some of it's like completely obvious. You could totally see everything. It's just a mesh.
And so here's the deal. I'm not saying I don't like it, but what happens is like in the content world of creating stuff that's, for lack of a term, to go viral, that's always going to win. Yeah. Right? That's going to, the reason why, OnlyFans became, even though OnlyFans is no different than what Patreon is, it became the place to sell
the stuff,
right? Yeah. Because it's always going to, and every top earner of that platform is something to do with more or less that.
Well, it's the oldest trade of the book, right?
Yeah.
But damn.
I mean, you see it happening with YouTubers too. Like apparently Rennie was telling me about like dudes, like jack dudes are on YouTube now doing like YouTube, which is, look, I ain't mad at anybody.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I'm a motorcyclist, and when your content's not really about motorcycling anymore, it's about that. Yeah. Then, start an OnlyFans, it's cheaper. I mean, you can get there quicker probably.
Yeah, but I feel like OnlyFans is also a lot of work.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work, but you get you don't have to worry about ads. People are paying into your stuff, and it's just like, hey, I want to see your junk, dude. So, bam. Or I want to see whatever, or,
They're going to be like, I want a refund. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
What was it like the first year that happened? All these chicks were blown away for how much they had to pay on taxes because they didn't realize that they were being taxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an income. Just like YouTube, it's an income.
Yeah, they
You're going to get your W-4, whatever they call it, at the end of the year.
Yeah, W-2, I think.
Two, okay, yeah.
Or 1099 or something. But anyway, it's like, but I mean, I'm just complaining, and, the world is what it is, and, the thing is that, like, the people that are actually seeking out the right type of stuff, it exists. The YouTube channels exist. It's the same thing with music. There's a lot of, like, surface level music out there that some of it's good, some of it's horrible, and some of the horrible stuff is what's most popular.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good music out there. It's just you got to try to find it. And once you start finding those little grooves that you like, you're kind of like blown away by how much actually exists.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole world.
Yeah.
It's a whole new world. It's a whole world, man. And I would just add to that, like, speaking several languages, it's like, in terms of music and just cultures and how things are perceived and pursued, it's a challenge in itself, because it's like overload. Okay, this, that, like whatever, and then it's like, okay, how do I apply it? You know what I'm saying? To where it translates to the audience that you have in front of you, or you're trying to attract.
Yeah,
like you're talking about OnlyFans and Patreon. You can attract any category of people you want. It's just what you want to attract.
Yeah, what are you offering and what are you selling? And I think that's kind of the point, is like, through a YouTube channel, like there's plenty of ways that you can kind of go about it. When I leaked the photos of the CVO, I could have easily just did that by making a YouTube video about it.
Did you get in trouble?
What are they gonna do for me?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not in an NDA with them, so.
Oh, you're good then. Yeah.
So leaking those photos, leaking the ST photos the year and a half prior, like, I could have made YouTube videos about that, but I just put it on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
But that's not my channel. That's not what it's not.
You're not the bust down guy. You're not the
I'm not the let's hypothetically talk about this, right? But guess what? When we did leak them, the amount of people, it gave people something to do on YouTube for about 3 months.
For a while, everybody was on it.
Yeah, and so that's the point. It's like you give, like, it's just not my channel. It's not my thing. It's like I don't.
I mean, to your point, there's a lot of stuff that that once you're in the YouTube thing, and I think your content dictates, and how you are as a character, as a person on your channel, dictates what you attract, right? And I say that because there's these companies, for my little following that I have, I'm shy of 4K right now in terms of YouTube. But, I'm proud of it. But the thing is, it's almost like, certain people have reached out, certain companies have reached out. Very thankful, very blessed. I'm going to do right by them. They did right by me and everything. But it's almost like if maybe I was that guy that was talking about leaking those, not leaking, but like elaborating on that stuff, or that person, or maybe the guy talking about, I don't know, Harley-Davidson, how horrible they are, how good they are, or whatever, like that kind of content.
Those kind of clickbait titles.
Right. I don't know if I would have got the same response, and for the most part, I didn't reach out to any of them, like that. And it's a nice thing, but I think it comes down to like the content and what you do. And actually, what I mean what you do is like what you do versus like, look, I'm perfectly fine being in my, garage or warehouse back there and making videos. I got content for the next year and good content to share as a consumer. If you want to buy this helmet, you're going to buy it at this price because of blah, blah, blah. This is the quality. This is what you get. It's been tested and proven, blah, blah, blah. They get it done. Mm-hmm. The consumer makes a decision. Hey, bro, I want it. There it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly fine with that, but it's also like you're saying, like the writing and the hard writing, it's tasking, and it's not just physically, but I think it's a lot more mental than physically. You have to have that mental strength and perseverance to kind of push through. You're
putting a lot more work down to get that video than having to do the review of the helmet.
And I think, unbeknownst to me, I think people are like, I can dig that. Yeah. I can dig that. I respect that. Me, I'm just I'm just a dude trying to ride and give myself another challenge. You know what I'm saying? But I think that kind of comes in back, kind of circling back to what you're saying is to how you want to show what you want to. I mean, not necessarily prove, but what you want to be about. You know what I'm saying?
In some ways, I feel like a lot of what our world of motorcycling is today is what it was when I first got into it back in 2004, and what I saw was a lot of people wanting to become chopper builders. Mm-hmm. I think now it's a lot of replace chopper builders with YouTubers. Mm-hmm. And it's not, and I'm not digging at that. Like I think it's the thing that's become most inspiring to other motorcyclists to try to create something, something, about sharing this experience that you had. We all have that same experience when we ride these bikes, at least for the first foreseeable future of it. Right. It's exhilarating. For some people it wears off. Some people it turns into like 180 miles an hour asphyxiation or something like that. Yeah. But for the most part, I think it inspires people to want to go down that path to create something. Yeah. And, because you see a lot more of that going on. And the creating stuff on YouTube, I don't think gets as much attention as like the review of said things that's already created, right? But I mean, think about it. Like we use YouTube for so many different things. I can tell you right now, I used it this morning to see how to change an oil pressure switch on a car, and later on I'm gonna watch a video about photography, and then maybe I'll check one. You know what I mean? Like it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's plethora of stuff. Yeah, Yeah. No, for sure.
I'll watch a review about the DJI camera. I'll probably watch 100 of them. To see if there's any biases or whatnot.
Perspective.
Yeah,
I was actually gonna make for disclosure. I was gonna make a video on this, but I didn't because I just wanted some more time with it. To share. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is my review from my perspective.
I think in like Europe somewhere that makes really cinematic stuff that does like reviews on some camera stuff, but he does like moto, like camping and riding. He's British, right, or
something
Australian?
Like that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. He has like the cafe racer kind of style. I know what you're talking about.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
He's very thorough. I know. I don't know his name, but I follow him.
Yeah.
But to your point, like on the channel, I was like, we're talking about these reviews and whatever. A lot of the channels offer when they buy the stuff, they unbox it. This is my review. I'm like, I'm gonna give you a review on the garage box transmission after I got 30,000 miles, 10, 20, 40 or 5. Here's my review. Yeah. It was good and it sucked, or it was bad and then it was good, or something. But again, a different niche.
I have a good review that I'm going to do on the ST as a guy coming from a Road Glide.
Oh, that's going to be good.
And that's one of the videos I'm going to be working on. But, since it's going to be kind of like a voiceover, or like I'm talking about it, and then I'm going to overlay a lot of stuff. And I have a lot of great, I think, insight because we've got 15,000 miles on the bike since May.
That's what I was going to say. I think a lot of it has to do with the mileage you put in the certain time frame. If I came to you and I was like, hey, bro, I put, my turbo has 34,000 miles in what year and 10 months.
Yeah.
Right? and I haven't ridden for the last month. So cool. But if I'm like, hey, I have 34,000 miles in 4 years, it's a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think to what you're saying, you got 15K in this time frame, you can talk about it.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, when me and Dwayne, we rode back from LA together, it was 115 degrees going through some parts of Arizona, and I did an iron butt on that bike that day. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things, like I've put in the work on the bike to kind of have an opinion about it, but I just haven't had time. You know, once we got back from Born Free, it was my friend's trip, and then we got back from that, I had to make some money, then go to Sturgis. Then back from that, it was get the FXR done, and now I'm just now starting to get to the point where it's like, all right, things are starting to be back to the way they were before, where I can start thinking about doing it. So like the wall we're doing down there, like with all the David Mann stuff, it's more of a backdrop wall to do more content with. So I always want my shop to, like, I want every angle that, if a camera was on me, every angle looks cool. That way, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you got this here now.
This, I mean, we bought the chairs. We were going to do like another set that way.
Yeah, you can kind of have this kind of same setup here and just kind of whatever. And
just like have like you can kind of more catty corner those chairs in the corner, or have one chair and then just put another small backdrop behind it, and then have one camera from here doing a voiceover situation. Not when I say voiceover, basically a talking head as A roll, and then B roll would be all the riding footage and different shots, right? So
in this video I did this, snap, so and so, and we ran into this problem, but all that jazz.
Because the thing that sucks, like when you're like walking around, like talking to the camera, is the same way. Like if you ever been in that long phone conversation, next thing you know, you've just walked down the street, like or you're out in the backyard kicking grass around. That happens when you're on these YouTube things where you're talking on there. You just start moving around so much. So when you have to cut out some of the dumb shit you say, or the ums and the likes and the but you're moving. Next thing you know, the camera's jumping around everywhere where so you want to be mindful to be still. That way, if you fuck up, like it doesn't.
Well, you don't want to get people dizzy either.
And I'm guilty of that. Sometimes there's like a checklist of things that you got to think about every time you pull the camera out. Because you think about the shot or the backdrop, right? When I get back, I'm going to do a video on warranty, right? Because I think that's a hot topic, and a lot of people ask me about that. Hey, man, what about your warranty? And did you care about it? And blah, blah, blah. For good reason. These guys paid $34,000 for a Rogue Light after taxes and title. They want to know if they should avoid their warranty or not, if it's worth it. I'm gonna say yes, but you know, but again, spoiler alert.
But again, it's like, you know, the background. You sit down, you're gonna talk, but then you look at the video and you have this one little rag hanging down here. It's just an eyesore. At least it is to you, and it might be to other people or not. So it's just, I don't know, man. It's just trying to figure out, because none of us are pros, bro. It's not like we have, you know, we're just trying to make it out. But I think that's also the attraction. Yeah,
it's like you're trying to take, like, hey, look, I'm trying to teach myself how to be a video, all this. This other stuff, I'm kind of more proficient at it. Like now I'm trying to teach myself how to make that palatable for you to watch or listen to or whatever.
Right.
It's the same thing with the podcast, man. I mean, the podcast still has its fucking flaws, but for the most part, this episode 352 is still better than 300, or no, still better than 1.
Yeah.
You know?
It's improved. So, is it 352? Damn, you got 352 already?
And that's just the ones that we put out. I mean, our Patreon's got probably another 40 episodes on there.
Really? Damn.
So
I don't have a Patreon. I thought about starting something like that.
It's hard, man, because realistically, I think what you want to do with Patreon is that you want to have another form of content that's more exclusive. You know, like something.
You know, I see what you're talking about.
But it's already hard enough just to make this content in general. So what I've tried to do with mine is, like, I am actively always looking for ways. I was giving away a helmet every month, and I lost more money. Like, more people stopped supporting the Patreon when I was giving away helmets than I gained.
Then this,
So it was like, okay, well, fuck that. I'm not giving away
about a year ago
$700 helmet every month.
I know. About a year ago, I gave away. I had a raffle for, and that's probably I'm going to do something this year coming up. Do some raffles in exchange for, like, the 2147 crew decals and stuff. And it was for the Screaming Eagle Olin rear shocks. $1,500. Cool. And each sticker was $600. I mean, $600. $6. buy them. I'll ship them to you. No problem. Everybody got theirs. If you bought one, it's 1 entry, 2, and that's it. I didn't do like, if you know, for this year or for this day alone, it's going to be one. You buy one sticker, it's 2 entries. I didn't do none of that because I think things would get complicated for me. Yeah. And I want to be fair, you know? Yeah. So I did that, and I mean, you know, money came in and everything and all that's good stuff. I had it for a certain time frame because that's how you want to work those things. Had the website, still got the website out, but I have it down for construction as it says. But I have it all set up, and I lost money. Yeah, I lost money on that. But you know, how else are you going to learn? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the trade off. How is he going to learn? I lost money, like good amount of money. But for me, it was like I knew going into it I wasn't going to get it back, but I just wanted to try it, you know. And I'm happy I did because now, whenever I want to do it again, I pretty much know how to go about it again, and it could be the stuff. Because, like I said, eventually I want to like I got these hats, I got the hoodies, I got the shirts, and I've had them for over a year now. I washed them and this and changed tire off the side of the road on my white one and stuff like that. Because whenever I do put them on the, you know, start selling the merch. If people want to support the channel, right? It's like, hey, dude, I've wrote this for a whole year plus in these conditions and here and there, and this material is good. So you want to get it? Good. The problem is getting a price that's reasonable for everybody to be good. And it's like,
but especially now, like a lot of garments have gone up over the last year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I would have to sell these hats to make a be okay for about $40. Yeah. And I think that's a lot, but that's what they cost. But then they were like, dude, Harley hats are like $50 now or $40 or something. At shipping in there, dude, I don't know many people I want to buy a hat for $45. I don't.
Dude, if you can ship it for $5, good luck.
You see what I'm saying? Because personally, I want a tracking number.
Dude, I did. So 1 year I did 50 t-shirts. The only way anybody has a Fast Life shirt is if they went and got it from us at an event. There's we don't ship online. We don't sell online. Mm-hmm. I did one run of 50 shirts that I'll never do these again. It's like I like limited. I like
of course
or that kind of shit. So we did 50. Exclusive. I gave them exclusive, not seclusive or whatever. I did this run of shirts to give to a lot of the people and brands and friends that have given me shirts as though like, hey, look, I don't want to. I've gotten so many shirts from people. I'm like, let me give you one and like just to pay you back for what you've given to me, right? And there was about 25 left over. So I put them out and I sold them. There was a couple places to ship a t-shirt. It costed me more money to ship it than I actually made like selling the shirt. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like a $30 shirt was $29 at one place to ship, $35 another place. Just normal, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, fuck this. Like I didn't lose money selling them. Mm-hmm. But I didn't make any money.
Yeah, so the point of the question is why, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's stuff too. I'm just not well versed in the whole mailing thing. I know you can get a thing, a printer, and this and that, and you can pack it and they'll pick it up.
Stuff,
I just haven't invested the time yet on that yet. And second, I don't know how people want to buy it. So it's like, am I going to spend a G or 2 Gs on this or whatever, and then just sit for whatever, and then do I get small? Do I get large? So.
Eventually, we're going to have things like. We're going to have stuff where we will have an online store and everything. But, I keep trying to remind people, like, other than Matt helping me out, and everything that we do is a one-man operation. Yeah. Everything, all the shit, everything. Everything that the Fast Life name is on is pretty much me doing it besides the help of like guys like Matt and a few of the guys in my little group help out with like podcasts here and there. Yeah. Help out with the camp out. But, all this it's a lot, and so to add in shipping and receiving and filling orders and custom paint and make a video and you don't want
to stretch yourself too thin.
And I don't get. I mean, it feels cool to see someone wearing a Fast Life shirt, but it doesn't give me the same satisfaction as I get of creating something to then put out in the world, right? And everything that we make that's consumable is free. So Patreon for me is a way to, if you like what we do and you want to support it. While I'm trying to find new ways to at least put something on there, you're doing Patreon because you want to support the podcast. Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
It's like, be good with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because
for sure.
The camp out's free, other than paying camping. The podcast is free. Our YouTube, everything that we do, that people consume is free.
Is your Fast Life camp out is going to be in June again?
No, it's in May.
It's in May.
First weekend of May.
Okay, that's good.
It's always the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either the first weekend of May or the last week of April. It's always right there.
Okay.
Too hot. It's too hot to camp if you go into May.
Yeah, no, it's yeah.
It can be too wet or too cold. I mean, every year we have a rain threat, and every year it does. If you're traveling the country, you're going to get rained on, and we tell people all the time. But every year it's like it's going to rain all weekend, and it never fucking does. It'll rain for 2 hours one day. Only once in the entire time we've done the camp out did it rain. It rained from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. once, and people partied their ass off in the rain.
No, that's a good time. Yeah, I'll be coming back over here to this area, I want to say April 26th or 27th, because they just called me yesterday, actually, as a special guest for some MC stuff over here and stuff, and they're supposed to send me the information. So I'll be here, so I'll probably go into that the week after that, if it's the beginning of May.
Yeah, during the week, like, we start kicking off camp out stuff, and like, our bike night's on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we usually do like a pre-party here in Dallas somewhere, and then Thursday everybody's riding to the camp out. And it's Thursday to Sunday, so
that's cool. That's cool, man. That's cool.
We don't want people to ride all. I mean, we've had dudes coming from Montana and stuff, and you don't want people to ride across the country to get there for a Saturday event and then go back home Sunday.
Yeah,
you want to give them a couple of days to get there and unwind and rest. If they don't want to go ride Talamina, they just want to drink some beers and hang out. I mean, a lot of sober people go to our camp out too. You know what I'm saying? So if you're into that,
no, it's a good time because it just reminds me of the old ways of the motorcycle.
That's all it is.
Stuff,
yeah,
right? But yeah, dude, it's cool, man. It's badass.
Well, hey, I appreciate you making the trip and bringing some good whiskey.
So what's your review? It's
good. It's for tequila. Like, I've never really been a tequila drinker.
No, it is
straight.
It is a top end one. So I didn't bring the mediocre stuff. So Patron and stuff is good, but is
It's good, man. No, it's sippable. That's something different for me with tequila. I never really thought about that. So
there you go.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you for doing it. What's the 2147 mean?
Oh, so because I'm so not creative, I was just such a fan of my 131, like I mentioned earlier, right? And I was trying to come up with a channel, a name for the channel. Had all these different ideas and everything. So in my former life, I was really good at math. So I was like, well, what is the conversion of going back to my Gixxer to 131 cubic inches to cc's? So the conversion is 2,146.7. So I rounded up, and I added the crew. Hence, 2147 crew was born.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's how I came up with it.
So it's CC's.
It's CC's into 131, and then so the idea is that anybody has a 131 is part of the 131. I mean 2147 crew, like yourself.
Yeah, and it's for us up here, like that's our area code is 214.
Oh, no kidding.
So
that's right.
I was like, well, is it?
Yeah.
Like, is there a play in that, or I don't know. So
no, that it's just the conversion to CC's.
Cool.
Because some people and I got it because
people do ask that. What's that in CC's?
What's the C? 2,147, and they're like, what? And a turbo.
It's like bigger than most Civics.
Yeah. So that's how it came, man. But hey, man, thank you very much for having me over. I'm happy you reached out and we finished our conversation from Sturgis. You need anything, let me know. I'm just a little hippity scop away, and yeah, man. And all you guys, make sure you subscribe to his channel and follow him on Instagram.
Him too. All right, thanks, man.